All right, let's do it. Welcome in to a Friday edition of the Matt Wyatt Show. It's Friday. Mary Liddy is fed up with that song, but you get the point. We're happy that it's Friday. You're into the weekend. Of course, again, it kind of feels like around here, it feels like an extra day of weekend. It is really for us. We're having fall break. Not every school is doing that, but a lot of schools are having fall break. So yesterday was the last school day of the week for the Wyatts. Today is the first day of the weekend, so it kind of feels like Saturday, but it's still just Friday. And anyway,
it's not a Monday.
It could be worse, right, JB?
That's right.
It could be worse.
I was thinking about that on the way over here.
That's right. It could be worse. It could be Monday.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I mean, I kind of like Mondays, but
I do too. I like every day,
but I like Fridays better. Hey, look, today on this Friday, this is going to be a fun show for lots of reasons. I think we'll have a good time with it. Really laid back on a kind of a free-for-all Friday show. You did have some high school games last night. You had an upset last night nobody saw coming in high school football. So we'll look at a few of the scores, and then you've got games tonight to preview, and plenty of time to do that. So probably when we talk high school football, may recap and then preview later in the show. Of course, tomorrow, college football. Your favorite SEC team will be out there on the field, and they may be sloshing around in the mud or not. We don't know because Hurricane Delta is making its way here. All of that. And you can be a part of the show today, and that's important because we're going to make picks. I want you to tell me what you think is going to happen in Lexington, what's going to happen in Oxford. Pick some of these other games. JB and I are going to do it also. We're going to have two different times today. We'll jump in and divvy them up, pick a few games. We'll do that in the first hour. We'll do it in the second hour. So today's going to be fun. It's a normal Friday show that is never normal, free-for-all Friday. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team, they are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance across the great state of Mississippi. Hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Here's how you can be a part of the show. Text me on the Country Pleasing Sausage text line. 885-ESPN, 885-ESPN, or 885-3776. So text the show, we'll get it in. Call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer, 995-1059. That's the number to call. It's a 601 number, 995-1059. Today, because it is a Friday, I have a co-host in the studio today with me. You've met her before or heard her. I don't know if you've met her, but you've heard her before. In fact, you heard her on yesterday's show. My daughter, Mary Liddy, is my co-host for a little while today. What's up, Mary Liddy? Hold on, let me turn your mic on there. There we go.
Oh, my mic wasn't on.
Now it is. Okay, so we got a co-host. I appreciate you joining me today. You're not at school. Why not?
Well, they considered it fall break.
Yeah.
And so
they sent you home. They were tired of you.
Yeah. No, they weren't.
No, they weren't tired of you. They're just having a fall break. So you're off today. You get Monday off too, right?
Yes. So it's a 4-day weekend.
Woohoo! Whoop, whoop. What is that your teacher does? And she goes, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, and she goes, super duper fun.
Yeah, and so we're going to have super duper fun on today's show.
Yes.
Until Mommy comes back and picks you up. But Mary Liddy was here, and she said, I'm bored. Can I be on the radio? And what are you going to say? Absolutely, especially when everybody likes to hear you on the show. So you might, if you're still here, you might take part in some of the picks also.
Yeah, Mama's gone, and I'm bored. I was just sitting downstairs. Mm-hmm. The TV not on.
Yeah, right. So we'll get into it here. Sven, who watches the show on the YouTube live stream, Mary Liddy, he lives in Germany. So he's a long way from here, over an ocean from here. But he says hello to you. He says, hey, little lady.
This show goes all the way to Germany?
Yeah, because we stream it on the internet, right? So anybody in the world can get it. Sort of. Kind of. Not get it, but they can listen to it, right?
Yeah.
Danny says hello. What's up? Shane says, how about those Warren Central Vikings? Yeah. All right. So Warren Central.
Yes.
The Vikings, they beat Madison Central last night 8-0. We watched it on television. Popped it up on our television there because I think I was actually streaming it through the Madison Central website, so we got to see that one. And it was wet there. It was a rainy deal. Hey, JB, I noticed that the boys over at Mississippi Gridiron both picked Madison Central.
Yeah.
And I only bring that up because they get so few picks wrong that I feel I should point it out when they do get one wrong.
Well, I mean, you're doing your due diligence.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing it to be critical.
Right.
You're doing it to help them get better.
And that's it. Yeah. I mean, they nail
There's
most
a big
of
difference, man.
Yeah, I agree. There is a big difference.
But,
Look at
those Morgan boys got it going on over there with them Vikings, man.
Well, they're really playing good defense, and they kind of have it dialed in of how to win. It's like they got kids that and have coached, and they just know how to figure out a way to win games, you know?
Well, they've been there. This is the fourth season. They've been back at the helm.
Is it 4? It may be more than that, but it's close to that, right?
Okay, I think it's 4 or 5. But it's taken them that long to get the program down through, middle school and then the 9th grades program, because they've always been very competitive. Just because I live in Clinton, Clinton plays them every year in every sport. So I just it's taken them some time to get the program where they want it to be, but I think it's at a good place right now. Definitely.
Right.
Could be them in Starkville for the North Championship.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm going to say that today.
Is that right? You think
I'm saying Warren Central and Starkville will play for the North Half Championship.
Okay. There's our first prediction on this Free-for-All Friday for you. Is JB says it's going to be Starkville and Warren Central for the North Half. That'd be fantastic. Now, Mary Liddy, you want to talk, don't you?
Yeah.
Right? You want to talk some?
I have a question.
Okay, hit me. What is it?
What do you talk about when I'm not on the show?
Well, we talk about football. We have questions, from listeners on the text line and on the phone line, but we talk a lot about football. Does that sound interesting to you? We talk about food and movies and everything else, but we really talk mostly about football. Yeah, you just curious, huh?
Yeah.
Your grandmommy, my mommy, says hi, Mary Liddy. She's watching on Facebook.
Oh.
How about that? Yeah, so we got a whole crowd here. Over here, first up on the Country Pleasing text line. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Rebel Tiger Dog. He texted the show and he said, what's here? Rebels keep rolling. Who's he talking about? Leak Academy Rebels. Okay, keep rolling. 8-0 after last night. Let us hear your dinner plans again for tonight on the road trip to Kentucky. I recall you mentioning a place a while back, Hale State. He says, got to go. Snake in the house. Man, I hope not. I hope not. No, I don't know if, let's see, I'm trying to think, Kentucky. The only place that jumps out at me that I've been to in Lexington in terms of good food is a Mexican food place that Neil Price took me 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, the last time we were there. I don't remember the name of it, though. I'm going to have to text Neil. I mean, he took me there, and there was something on the menu. It's Tacos El Pastor. And so
fancy.
Yeah, I couldn't remember it, Mary Liddy, so I just called it the Pastor's Tacos. Neil got a big kick out of that. And
they were pretty cool.
They were
I would
fantastic.
Love to have some Pastor's Tacos.
Hey, let me tell you, you would love them.
Me?
I love Mexican food.
Oh.
Yeah, we had Mexican food.
Some people that work at this station.
Yeah, Chris doesn't.
I think he's got 2 specific dishes at 2 different restaurants, and that's all he eats when he goes there.
Yeah, he's a creature of habit. What was that deal he texted us today about bologna and ham? Were they talking?
Yeah, they were having a discussion on their show as to whether or not what is better, ham or bologna. And you text in, bologna, tough choice. I text bologna, and then I also text him about the same time he got a call from Gatorman and said fried bologna is the bomb.
Oh yeah,
there's
fantastic.
Nothing better. I mean, that's what I ate growing up, just about every day for lunch.
Yeah,
it's either peanut butter and jelly or fried bologna.
Yeah.
Take that little red wrapper off the outside of it.
Right. What is that? Plastic? Is that a plastic,
it's tubing, because bologna is like a big sausage.
Right.
And so they slice it up real thin, but they leave that. that casing on it.
Yeah, I'm a bologna guy. I like ham, but I mean, if we're talking about meat for a sandwich, and I have a choice between bologna and ham, I'm probably going to take bologna.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Mary Liddy?
Ham.
You going with ham?
Not bologna.
You haven't had a whole lot of bologna in your life, have you?
No.
No.
Can I ask Mary Liddy a question?
Yeah, feel free.
Mary Liddy, I have been wondering this for many moons now, because your dad is somewhat a creature of habit in that he loves country pleasing sausage in the mornings. So, are you a big fan of country pleasing as well?
Well,
and if so, what's your favorite?
I don't even think. Have I even tried anything that's country pleasing?
Yeah, you tried the original flavor a while back, and she liked it. She's not a big sausage eater. She likes bacon.
I like bacon and those little.
That's why you're so cool, because you love
those
bacon.
little sausages. You know, those tiny ones. That
Oh yeah, little Smokies.
Yeah,
I call
wrapped up in a biscuit.
Yeah,
With a
yes.
little mustard on them.
Yes, I call them baby hot dogs, and you know why?
Yeah,
Because when I was little, when my mom was trying to get me to eat them, my grandfather was there, and he said, "It's a baby hot dog. Eat it." So I call them baby hot dogs.
That's right. It stuck. It sure did. It stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm actually Rebel
I
Tiger
actually
Dog.
call those pigs in the blanket.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's been
Yeah.
that's pigs in a blanket. I think it's for me back in the '80s. That's
Wait,
what I was
why do you
introduced
call
to.
them pigs in a? Oh.
Okay, did you just get it? They're like it's.
Yes,
pork.
I understand
It's
that.
pork and a biscuit. Okay. Rebel Tiger Dog. I'm actually going
Pig
to.
is pork.
That's right. I'm actually going to Lexington tomorrow instead of today. I'm going to drive up day of the game and then come back the following day. And, we'll deal with rain up there, deal with rain coming back. It's just kind of the way it is. White Denzel on the Country Pleasing text line. This right here is incredible. That was the big upset last night. West Point losing a region game for the first time since 2014 is peak 2020. And it is. What was the score? 35-26. Lake Cormorant beat West Point. Their quarterback, Lake Cormorant quarterback Telvin Amos, threw 3 touchdown passes, ran for another one. Lake Cormorant, they are the Gators. The Gators upset the Green Wave. So West Point now has 2 losses. One to start one the season opener, and then last night to Lake Cormorant. Huge upset in that one. That's probably the biggest surprise around the entire state. Chris on the Country Pleasing text line says, I've told Brooksy and the boys from day one that Warren Central is the bunch to beat in Central Mississippi this year. And then he said, Mary Liddy has the best personality. Yeah, you really do. You really do. What is this Louvier said here? Louvier. What a name, huh?
I like
he's
it.
a huge Saints fan, as he always ends every call. Go Saints.
Go Saints. And
I got the Saints D this week in my fantasy team, so I'm hoping he's a good prediction that Saints 41 and Chargers, I think he said 6 or 5.
Well, he's being funny. He said Saints 41, Chargers -5, which isn't possible. He's always got an outlandish prediction. And he says, yeah, go Saints. But Saints, Chargers, I think they got their hands full with that Chargers team. That's what I think. Now, you're facing a rookie quarterback over there and Justin Herbert for your Saints fantasy defense, JB, but I don't know that I would actually, right now with everything we've seen, I don't know that I would confidently just throw down and pick the Saints in that one. We'll get into that later. We got some NFL stuff coming. I don't know that I'd pick the Saints, though. What does this say right here? State Grad 98.
Read that text that was from the earlier show.
So he says, if it makes you feel any better, my calves listen to your show and think you are moo-tastic. State Grad 98. Yes, I have a radio in my barn. Also, the calves are listening harder since your daughter is on the show. How about that? He put the radio in the barn and his cows are listening.
Wow.
We want to tell the cows anything since they're listening?
Thanks for the milk.
Appreciate the milk, ladies. What does this say right here? FYI, for your information, this is on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. It is the best sausage, period. Mary Liddy can attest. I eat it every single morning, don't I?
Yeah.
With breakfast.
And you make avocado toast. You take toast and you put avocado and bacon and a fried egg on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does. He makes avocado toast and sausage and sometimes blueberries.
Yeah, and what do you have for breakfast every day before school?
Eggs, toast, and bacon.
Uh-huh. I tell you what.
This morning I had eggs and bacon.
This little girl right here may have a bad day someday. She may have
a bad breakfast.
She may have a lack of energy someday. She's never going to school without the opportunity to have a good breakfast, if we can help it. All right, so here's a unnamed texter. FYI, in today's Vicksburg Post, under 20 years ago, long live the Queen.
What? Wait, what queen? Wait, a queen?
Look! 20 years ago, on this day, 20 years ago, in 2000...
What?
Annabeth Freeman of Vicksburg is elected homecoming queen at the University of Mississippi.
Yes! Yes!
Mary Liddy, we've got to tell Mommy that I didn't realize that today was the anniversary of that happening.
I don't even think she knows.
She didn't realize it was October the 9th. And she's thinking about other things. Yep, for sure. We got to make sure she knows that. Whoever you are, thank you for that nugget of information right there.
Did you go to school with her?
No. She went to Ole Miss. I went to State.
No, the guy who said that.
Oh, the person. Well, they saw it in the paper. It's in the Vicksburg Post newspaper today.
Oh.
Yeah. Patrick on the Country Pleasin' text line says, it's called, but what is he saying? Is he saying we're supposed to pronounce it Bologna?
I think that's exactly what it's. But I used to do that all the time, and people said I was stupid.
Yeah, because you're.
I would call it Bologna.
That's how it's spelled.
I know.
That is how
not everything. Not everything is spoken the way it's spelled.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Just to be clear, people, it's macaron, not macaroon.
But you told me there's two different ones.
Yes, okay. A macaron is those little cookie sandwiches.
Right.
And macaroons are shredded coconut.
Okay.
You
know what I call them?
That's really right.
Dessert. It's all dessert. Just give it to me. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona says, depends on the brand of bologna. If it's Brian brand, yes. If it's the garbage brands available out here, talking about in Arizona, or the dollar stores back home, nope.
Oscar Mayer, man. Gotta have Oscar Mayer. And the Brian bologna,
Oscar
Mayer
truck.
Oh, yeah. You saw that, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw the Oscar
JB, about
Mayer
a week and a
truck.
half ago, the Oscar Mayer wiener truck came driving through Tupelo. Mary, they got a picture taken.
Yeah, and I told him, and we were driving in the car from school, and it was coming to Tupelo at Fair Park, but I was going to be in school the next day, so Mama didn't tell me because she didn't want to make me sad. And I said, Mom, that truck has a hot dog on top of it. She's like, wait, what? She's like, it's the Oscar Mayer wiener dog truck.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what the Oscar Mayer wiener dog truck was until just that moment.
Yeah, until you saw it.
Yeah.
Beer Slayer on the Country Pleasin' text says, fried bologna, fried egg, and cheese sandwich is the bomb. That sounds fantastic. I might even want to try it. All right, look here. Tide Man is hanging on the Davini Equipment phone line. I got a couple of minutes here, Tide Man. Thanks for calling on this Friday. What's up?
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Mary Liddy, is that right?
That's right.
Name
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mary Liddy, I'll tell you what. How old are you?
9.
9? Oh my goodness, you sound like you're 15. You are a very bright, articulate young lady. I'm enjoying listening to you. And I'll tell you one thing I like about. I'm gonna tell you, Mary Liddy, one thing I like about your dad. Not only was he an excellent college quarterback, but the thing I like about his radio show is that a lot of former athletes that do radio shows, they constantly remind you that they were an athlete. You know, it doesn't matter what the question or topic is. They always got to say, well, I played, you know, I did this. When I was playing, we did this. Your daddy, you know, if you can listen to him all week, it might not even know he ever played
He
quarterback
doesn't
for a
do
great school like Mississippi State. And I think his humility is wonderful. It's why I enjoy listening to the show and calling in every once in a while. And I'm going to ask your daddy a question and hang up and listen. But Mary Liddy, I hope you get on the air more often. It's been a pleasure to listen to you.
Thank you.
Matt, so my question, you're welcome. My question for you is, who are you rooting for tomorrow? And typically when Bama and Ole Miss play, do you pull for your state, or is your dislike for your interstate rival greater than your dislike for my Tide? And
Boy, what
I'll
a
hang up
great
and listen.
question. What a great question, Tide man. Now, this is not a cop-out, because as you can hear, the music has begun. But I'm going to take 4 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever this is here, think about my answer, and I'll give you an honest answer when we come back right after this. Who am I pulling for, Ole Miss or Alabama in that game tomorrow in Oxford?
I'm pulling for...
Are you ready?
I think...
All right, hold on. Just hang on to your pick. We'll do it when we come back. Y'all stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasing Sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing Sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let...
It's the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back with you. I've thought about it, Tide Man, and I have an answer for you. I'm just going to give you an honest answer. I'm really not pulling for either team in the game. Okay, neither Alabama nor Ole Miss are my team, you know.
So you're going to be lukewarm?
Well, I know this is being lukewarm. I'm just being honest. Like, if I'm watching, which I won't be tuning into the game on television, I'll probably listen to all that stuff on the radio.
Yeah.
But my thing is, Mary Lady, JB,
I know who I'm going to pull for.
Tide Man, I'm going, I'm being totally honest, like if I tune into the game, I consume it, I don't really have any kind of rooting interest one way or the other. Now, my tendency has always been, and I think always will be, I sort of, in games I'm not pulling one or the way or the other, I tend to pull for the underdog.
The underdog.
The underdog is the team that's not supposed to win. Like the other team is favored to win the game. And I generally do that. However, I made some statements in interviews and stuff over the...
Is Alabama supposed to win?
Alabama's supposed to win. And I have said in other interviews and stuff over the last really 2 months, and including on some friends of mine shows who do shows over in Alabama, I have said Alabama's going undefeated and that Mac Jones is going to have a really good year at quarterback. So I think probably for that, I'm on the hook for Alabama. But I don't have a rooting interest. Now, Mary Liddy.
Ole Miss.
You're pulling for Ole Miss to win over Alabama.
Yes.
They would be the underdog. You're pulling for the underdog.
But do you not like Alabama?
No, I like them fine.
Well, Ole Miss never wins.
Yes, they do. They won last week.
No, I mean like...
Against Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about that yesterday. They beat them in 2015. You were 4 years old when they beat them in 2015.
She might be 10 times that the next time they beat them.
Yeah. But, okay, so they beat them then, but that was the last time they beat them. And in the last 2-3 years or whatever, Alabama has just blown them out. The game hasn't even really been close.
Alabama is really good.
Yeah, and your friend Charlotte, who lives right back here.
Shout out to Charlotte.
Shout out, Charlotte. They're big Alabama fans, right?
Yeah. When we had a pumpkin party one time, she wrote Alabama on her pumpkin. She painted it white in red writing, and she wrote Alabama around it.
Her mom and dad have brainwashed her.
Not really.
What did you do on your pumpkin?
A face. I named it Carol.
Really? Why Carol?
I just named it Carol.
Okay, but she put Alabama on her pumpkin.
Yeah.
Good gracious alive, Charlotte.
Well.
Yeah. Okay, Paul is saying that Matt needs to just man up like Mary Liddy and make a choice. Well, look, we're going to do picks. That's the thing. We're going to do picks coming up in a few minutes here on the show. I am making no bones about the fact that I'm picking Alabama to win. And I'm picking Alabama to win by about 3 touchdowns in the game. Okay, but it's not a rooting interest. So there. Just let me put that out there. Hey, real quick. Mary Liddy, you and I, at some point during your fall break, we are going to try Beer Slayer's...
Wait, what? What?
We're going to try what he suggested to us. Fried bologna, fried egg, and cheese on a sandwich. We're going to try that and see if you like it.
I'm just going to do scrambled eggs.
Oh, really? You're not going to try it, are you?
Because I don't like the texture of the yolk on a fried egg.
Well, then we can bust the yolk.
No, that makes it even more like gooey around the good part.
Okay.
I don't like the texture. It's like slimy.
Yeah, she doesn't like the slimy fried egg. All right, Tar Heel, Matt, the pineapple sausage was legit. Tar Heel, thanks so much for your tweet. It reminds me here, I meant to have already retweeted it, but I got distracted because right before you tweeted that to me last night, Tar Heel, the picture of that pineapple sausage on the grill, and glad you loved it there from Country Pleasing. I got a tweet from Wes, and it's 4 pictures. Columbus Fire and Rescue enjoying some red beans and rice made with Country Pleasing sausage as recommended by Matt. And they sent me pictures, and so they had red beans and rice with Country Pleasing sausage in there. So Tar Heel, I'm really glad you like it. I knew you would. I'd like to know, did you just like slice it up and eat it, or did you put it on a bun, or what did you do? I'd be curious to know that. Okay, and so the person that sent us the note from 20 years ago in the Vicksburg Post that points out how Anna Beth was the homecoming queen at Ole Miss on this day in 2000, October 9th, 2000.
Yeah.
From GT. This is GT in Vicksburg, who says she was a great kid and a patient of mine. So thanks so much for sending us that. We'll make sure we keep an eye out for it.
Wait, was she her teacher or her
I don't
friend?
know. Well, she said patient, so it must have been a doctor.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I think. Let me see here. On Bologna, Dennis, formerly of Omaha, texted the show and said the correct Southern pronunciation is Loney. Really?
What?
People don't even say baloney. They just say loney. I've never heard that.
Hey, go get me some loney. No one says that.
I've never heard that. Have you? I have not heard that. Bulldog West says, my baloney has a first name. It's Fried. Fried bologna. There used to be a song that said, my baloney has a first name. It's Oscar.
Fried bologna.
And it's Oscar Mayer. They sang the Oscar Mayer song and they spelled it out. Which you need to learn that song. But Bulldog West is making a prediction for Mississippi State, Kentucky. He says MSU 37, Kentucky 21, go Bulldogs. Now, he has a prediction for Ole Miss. Alabama 51, Ole Miss 28. But he calls them, instead of calling them the Land Sharks, he calls them the Land Guppies. He's a Hail State fan, and then he sends me a big old see ya. Thanks, Bulldog West. Bill in Madison. Matt, how did you end up marrying an Ole Miss homecoming queen?
Wait. Let me tell this story.
You know this story? Let's see.
You met her on the news.
Yeah, that's right.
You met her on the news. She was working on the news. Then you were working on the news. And then you started dating. Then you got married. And she surprised you with Colonel Rebel at your wedding.
She sure did.
And you weren't happy.
I was not happy about that. But he was out of work. He needed something to do. The truth is, at our wedding reception, Colonel Rebel, the Colonel Rebel mascot, she had hired him to show up and surprise everybody.
Wow.
And I said, well, why didn't you get the Bulldog too? She said he was too expensive.
Wow.
Okay, it's a true story. But yes.
I bet the mascots would have not liked each other.
we might have had a fight. Yes, that's it, Bill. Living in Tupelo, I was working in sports at the local TV station. And Anna Beth got a job in news, and we met and became friends and then started dating, and the rest is history. And hopefully they lived happily ever after to this point. That's true. State Grad 98 says, last text for the day before I have to get on the tractor. The Cavs watched you on YouTube and said you have a perfect face for radio.
Who?
Don't shoot the messenger. They would text, but their hooves won't let them. Yeah. He's saying when they say somebody has a perfect face for radio, it means they're not good looking enough to be on television. And it's a joke or whatever, Yeah.
Well, you were on television.
I was, and then my hair fell out, and now I do radio. Louvier says
Put your hat on backwards.
Louvier says that you have the cutest you have the cutest giggle ever. All right. Let me look at the clock here. Okay, Miko says, Matt, try some of that Country Pleasing jalapeno sausage on a hot dog bun with some coleslaw. Oh my goodness, that would be awesome. And I have some. Got a new order coming today.
He has an addiction to weird foods.
What do you mean? Look, country pleasing sausage. Jalapenos.
No, I don't mean that country pleasing is weird. It's just sometimes you make weird combinations.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe so. I do like different things a lot of times than you and your mommy do. That's for sure.
We are picky. Jason
in Flagstaff agrees with you. A runny fried egg ain't done as far as he's concerned.
No. I don't like it because I don't like it. Okay, I was trying to figure out how to say that. I don't like it because I think it's uncooked. I don't like it because I don't like the texture.
Yeah.
It's slimy. It's gooey. I would rather have a scrambled egg. I would eat a scrambled egg all day. The only part of fried egg that I'll eat is the white part.
Mm-hmm. The white part.
That's the best part.
Does anyone put salt on their eggs?
Yes, I do.
Everybody does pretty much.
Pepper too.
Yeah, salt, pepper.
Some days I put
my mom
Tabasco.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's hot sauce. Yeah.
Hey, if you make that fried egg and cheese and bologna sandwich, I would use Texas toast.
Okay.
I think regular thin bread might cause you.
Thanks for the tip.
Thanks, Jay.
Maybe an overweight sandwich.
Yeah. All right, Mary Lady, you got to go real quick. You've already picked Ole Miss in an upset over Alabama.
Yes.
Mississippi State versus Kentucky. It's in Kentucky. It's going to rain. What do you think? Real quick. Who do you pick for that game?
Wait, who are they? Like, what are the two teams?
So the Bulldogs versus the Wildcats.
Bulldogs,
huh? Dogs and cats.
That's what I hope wins. That's who I hope wins.
Okay. Do you think they will?
Maybe.
I
don't know. Like, I don't know which teams are good and which teams are bad because I don't pay attention to football when you watch it.
Well, you're not the only one. Nobody else knows which teams are good and bad either. Except for Alabama. We know that they are very good.
Yeah, they beat a lot of people.
They sure do.
They're a good team.
Hey, thanks for being on the show.
Let nothing stand between you and the tree stand with this great offer on the fast, durable
Farm
Kubota.
Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with autopay and paperless billing. Even without autopay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams Summertime in Mississippi. Country pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing Sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from it. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial.
So it's the Matt Wyatt Show. 30 minutes for your life right now. On 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back with you. Live in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. Your hometown heroes, your local Farm Bureau insurance agents in all 82 counties across the great state of Mississippi. Look them up online, favrates.com. Staying connected to you here today, not only on the air, but when I'm off the air, I stay connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. Posting, uploading, tweeting, live streaming, filming, Instagram, Ming, all of that and more because of C Spire, the #1 network here in the state of Mississippi. All right, you can be a part of the show. I'm going to get to a lot of your comments. Y'all are really kind. It was fun to have Mary Liddy here. She's out for fall break today. And she said, I'm bored. Can I be on the radio? I was like, absolutely. But she's headed off to do something else, and I think she's going to eat lunch here in just a minute. So thanks for...
I know what she won't be eating.
What's that? Fried egg? She's not going to be having that. She's not a fan of the gooey fried egg, she said. All right, Joey is hanging on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. What's up, Joey? Hey, Joey.
Hello?
Hey, man.
Hey. Just calling in.
Yeah? What you want to talk about, Joey?
It's not Joey, it's Paul.
Oh, Paul, I'm sorry. We got it mixed up.
Joey must have hung up, and he must have been calling about the same time that we went to Joey.
He must have, yeah.
Anyway, right. Matt, Paul's on the call.
Paul, I'm sorry about that. We had Joey.
No problem.
And then we didn't know that it was Paul that was on there. All right, what's up, Paul?
I was just calling in and commenting on Matt's daughter. Very impressed.
Thank you. She is really something else. She's really a sweetie. Paul, you got a prediction for your Rebels tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the Rebels will win 48-41.
All right, Paul, we got you down, 48-41. Hey, have a great weekend, man. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I'm not finished.
Oh, okay. Hit me. What is it?
That was a joke.
Oh, the score was a joke?
A real joke. If Ole Miss, I figure it'll be a 25-30 point game, Alabama.
Yeah.
But I wanted to call in and tell you that I was so impressed with your daughter.
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
A very, very sweet girl. Very intelligent, very smart, and I mean, you're proud of her.
Oh, yeah, absolutely I am. She's a heck of a kid now, and she's smart and happy. You know, I think one thing that we have been just, you know, so blessed is that she has always been healthy, yes, but she's maybe the happiest baby and happiest kid I've ever been around. I mean, and it's almost like born that way. Like when she was, you know, like you have this little newborn baby, right? Or, you know, every how many months old, just a few months old, and you're going to have pictures made. And I mean, even then, it was like it was no trouble to get her to smile for the camera. I mean, she just grinned from ear to ear. She's always been such a happy kid. So we're just really lucky, you know, well, not lucky, but just very much the Lord has blessed us. And blessed her.
Well,
no question.
She is very impressive, I will say that.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
And I enjoyed talking to her. And I just hope that she just got her the homecoming queen.
Absolutely has and did. Thank you very much. Paul, have a great weekend, man. Yeah, call me anytime.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, predictions. Though I say predictions, picks. Let's pick some games right now. We're into what is going to be week 3 around the SEC. And, you know, we've kind of got that little bit of a sample size. It's going to be a weird season, a short season. We're not going to have 12 games to look at before it's all said and done. We're going to have 10. So things are a little different. But we've seen everybody play. We know a little bit about everybody. And so I think it's okay to maybe now jump in there and start to pick a game or two based on what we know. And then let's see how we can do on that. Several folks on Facebook and YouTube already made some picks. Like Sven yesterday went ahead and picked State. He had them putting up about 40 points on Kentucky, I think. Something like that. Winning by a couple of touchdowns. But here on the show, I don't think we made any predictions or picks. So let's do it now. Why not? I will start it with this, though. Josh on the Country Pleasing text line. He's got Bama 45, Ole Miss 24. JB, let's look at that game and pick it real quick. It's not, I don't think, going out on a limb that everybody in the world's picking Alabama. Ole Miss defense hadn't been able to stop anybody, but the offense has been good. I expect Ole Miss's offense to move the ball some. If you look, I mean, Alabama 2-0, but it's not like their defense has just been, you know, the 85 Bears by any stretch.
Well, the thing about Alabama that I have not heard a lot of people talk about in the first couple of games is the two linebackers that both were injured last year and missed the entire season. They are back, and I think they're 22, 23 years old, respectively. So it's some older dudes on defense, and if you look at just the past 3 years, I mean, Saban has wanted to just ring the numbers up against Ole Miss, and I think that dates back to when Friesenator was at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that will change any, especially even more now that the media's turned this thing up about Kiffin calling Saban elderly, you know, and telling him he couldn't cover him. It's gotten a lot of national media airplay. So if I had to pick a score, I think I'm going to go with Alabama 63, Ole Miss 21.
So you got Bama in the 60s scoring all they want to.
Yeah.
Ole Miss finding 3 touchdowns. You know, I'm looking at these other scores that, you know, they gave up 19 on the road at Missouri in the first week, but put up 38. Last week they score 52, give up 24 points to A&M. And I didn't get to see all that game, but some of it, and I know some of A&M's points did come late. You know, I think that they put up 52 on A&M. I think it's going to be about like that. You know, maybe upper 50s. I don't think they dip over the 60-point mark. So, but you know, okay, I think Ole Miss's offense is going to move the ball some and find the end zone some. But are they going to score more than 24 points on Alabama the way A&M did? I really don't think so. I think Ole Miss's offense is better than A&M's, but you know, if I were being generous, I might say something like, you know, 56-31, which is, you know, sort of a shootout. And it's really giving Ole Miss's offense a lot of credit. But I think that's kind of where I am on it. The line on the game is better than 3 touchdowns. And I think that's about right.
It's 23.5.
23.5, yeah. So, I mean, Yeah, so give me Bama mid-50s. Thank you, Mary Liddy. She brought me something to eat. Give me Bama mid-50s. Give me Ole Miss somewhere in the neighborhood of 28-31. I think that's where that game will wind up when it's all said and done. RLD, on watching the show on the live stream on YouTube, says the defensive line at Alabama is getting healthier, and they are. They're just a machine this year. They should not lose. I don't think they will. Hey, let's look at Arkansas and Auburn. Arkansas coming off the win, JB, at State. We saw the game. We know it, 21-14 the final. Franks has been pretty serviceable for them in 2 ball games. He really has. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes. They're 1-1, and so exactly the same as Auburn. And it's at Auburn, who's 1-1. Auburn with the win over Kentucky, pretty convincing, kind of ugly, but pretty convincing. Last week, kind of one of these convincing losses. Ugly, didn't put up much of a show against Georgia's defense at all, and they're 1-1. Auburn right at a 2-touchdown favorite. I like Auburn, but I think Arkansas can make the game a little closer and a little uglier than people realize. I mean, I think Arkansas is going to go in there in a lot of these games, try to make games ugly and try to win some ugly games. They already won 1 ugly game. And I think, maybe a little better capable of doing that. I do like Auburn to win the game, but I'd probably pick Auburn somewhere in the neighborhood of about, maybe like 28-17. So you're talking about a 10, 11-point win for Auburn there at home. It's kind of what I'm looking at. What do you think?
I think probably 31-14.
Okay.
War Eagles, the Plainsmen, and the Tigers.
All 3 of them.
When you got 3 different mascots, it's hard to beat. Hard to be beat, especially by a Farrell Hall.
There you go. All right,
the thing for me, and I was really impressed by Arkansas last week when they just shut down. And I know, what everybody's been saying about the execution and the rush 3, drop 8.
Right.
But Barry Odom had a great plan, and not only did he have a good plan, his players executed it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think he's going to have the same thing going in this week, getting prepared for Bo Nix.
Right.
I just don't know that they've got the
horses.
The Jimmies and the Joes,
right,
as the guy said earlier this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. So I like the game a little closer, maybe in that 10-point range. You like it spread out a little more, a couple of touchdowns or more. We both like Auburn, though. All right, at the end of hour 2, which is about to start in a little bit, we'll pick Tennessee, Georgia, and we'll pick Mississippi State, Kentucky, and we'll also pick Florida A&M. So that'll be coming up the end of hour 2. Hour 2 is about to start, so y'all stick around. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio.
Up to Biggersville up in Alcorn County tonight. 1A Biggersville, they're 2-0 this year. Scored 60 points in their ball game last week, so they're off to a really good start. Been by there a bunch. You can see the school and the field from the highway. There's a school, a water tower, a barbecue place, and a Dollar General, and a lot of really good folks.
I started at Biggerville in the 2nd grade in 1966, and I've been here since the 2nd grade. So people in Biggerville have been so good to me. And the good Lord, I'm just really blessed by what I've been able to experience. After school Thursday, there was 28 kids out there, and we counted the orders after. We're just blessed to support the school, and they sure support me.
This is the busy night, like everyone's coming.
It's a close-knit community. I mean, they love the kids, and like I said, I've been in Biggerville for 60 years, and it's just a great place. I mean, great place to raise your family and kids and support the school.
Smithville who's always kind of been a 1A powerhouse, hasn't played yet this year. They haven't been able to really even practice as much because of COVID. So kind of an interesting dynamic because Biggersville has never beaten Smithville. At least that's what I'm told. So it's actually a huge opportunity for that community.
I was supposed to stay. I'll take hamburger and Monday. Coke. You got any chips?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's game between the Biggersville Lions and the Smithville Seminoles. And what a game we have in store tonight as the 2-0 Lions take on the 0-0 Smithville Seminoles.
Well, let's see if the Lions can get their run game going with senior number 23, Goldman Butler.
So tonight's matchup getting ready to take place as the Biggersville Lions won the toss. They have elected to defer to the second half. We thank you all for tuning in to tonight's ball game.
Smithville brings tradition that people long for, and that's kind of what we long for here. You know, again, we're building it, but they've kind of set the standard, especially in 1A in North Mississippi and across Mississippi in general. So yeah, it's exciting. To my knowledge, they've told me we've never beaten them. So what an accomplishment that would be, and that's what we shoot for, and just to kind of set the tone for the whole season for bigger and better things, hopefully.
Bowler got a couple of blocks. He's going to bust through. He's going to break free. One man to beat. Breaking tackle. And will finally get pushed out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. So a great job right there for the Biggersville Lions. Rousey shotgun takes snap and hands it off to Butler once again. Butler up the middle. Got some blocks. Going to be handed off to Butler. Round to the left side and he'll bust into the end zone. Bowler around to the left side, and he'll walk into the end zone once again. As the Lions would take a commanding 14-0 lead early on here in this ball game.
There, baby. That looks great. Way to go. Good call. Good job, guys. Good. Way to go.
It's a hometown. It's just a big family. Everybody here knows everybody. Friday nights over the last 4 or 5 years has just increasingly become more and more exciting. You know, our team, these kids have grown and started in 8th grade and 9th grade as freshmen and played a lot of football and come a long way. This is a pretty good crowd. You know, we were limited on the number of tickets we can sell, so obviously normally there would be a lot more people here. But yeah, they definitely got a good crowd tonight.
Take snap and they're going to go to the air. They're going to throw deep. They might have a man. Intercepted again.
By number 8, Jarrell Jones. That's the second pick of the game.
2 3-and-outs for the Lions. They are turning on all cylinders tonight here, Devin, as they will get the ball back once again. Another opportunity here to score. Here is the clock going to tick down. 2-0. The Lions are going to take a dominant victory over the Smithville Seminoles, 64-0.
And I do think that this could be the Lions' year as they show dominance in their first 3 games, but it's still pretty early.
A great game tonight for the Biggersville Lions. We thank you all for joining us here. Signing off from the Lions Den. The final score is 64-0. The Biggersville Lions win. This is Lions sportscaster Aiden McAllister, joined with me by Devin Bullock. We thank you all for joining in. Thank you and have a good night.
To learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
WRKS Pickett's Jackson.
Time.
It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
Live in the studio.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, here we go. As promised, back for hour number 2 in the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau. Farm Bureau Insurance, your hometown heroes, your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents across the state of Mississippi. Thanks for tuning in. So, you want to make some picks, hit me up on the country pleasing text line. We got scores from high school football to go over. A whole bunch of texts here to get to. Going to do that coming up, and you can be a part of the show. Calling me on the Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, 995-1059, 601-995-1059. I'm here, JB's here. Most importantly, you are here. If you've texted me, 3-Hump Camel, More Bully, Tar Heel, Josh, Lynn, True Maroon, Jason, Decky from Brandon, everybody, I'm coming to your texts shortly. Hi to everybody tuning in on the live stream. If you comment on Facebook or YouTube or Periscope or wherever you're watching the show, watching and listening, I'll be able to see your comments. Paul on Periscope said that he's on the way to Pins for Catfish Friday. Woo! Hey, in fact, what is it, next week, or coming up soon, I know it's on the schedule, I'm going to get to be with some folks from a church there in the Brandon area for a night of catfish and talking about the Lord Jesus, and looking forward to that. So that's coming up in a few weeks. As I get a little closer, I'll give you some details on that. Here we go. Look, if you tuned in yesterday, we had a good time. We had a phone call yesterday from a bevy of coaches. We heard the voice of John Madden, and we heard the voice of Lou Holtz, and we heard the voice of Ed Orgeron, and Chucky, John Gruden. We heard all their voices on one phone call. It was a phone call where Coach O told me the best way to take care of those snakes is to hit them in the head with a 9-iron. And then you can make a belt out of it and make some gumbo. That was great. Today, right now on the Davini Equipment phone line, we're going to hear the voice of Jim Rome, who apparently is riding around on John Madden's bus with him. I didn't even know John Madden still rode around the country in that bus. I thought he was just, hanging out somewhere, but apparently he's riding around with Jim Rome on the Davini Equipment phone line. Hey, Jim, what's up?
Hi, Matt. This is me, Jim Rome. It is Romy. Right now, we are cooking steaks. I'm right now in my Blazer, and no, I don't mean the Portland Blazers that always lose in the playoffs. I've got to tell you this right now. This steak is awesome.
It's that good, huh? It's awesome. That I think awesome is one of those overused words by a lot of people. But hey, Jim Rome, if you say it's awesome, I believe you.
Hey, but it's not just awesome. It is phenomenal. Just amazing.
Now we've got awesome, phenomenal, and amazing. Jim, who do you like tomorrow, Ole Miss or Alabama?
Okay, let me just tell you this right now. So Alabama is doing good. Mac Jones is looking phenomenal. And Matt Corral looks pretty good. The Ole Miss defense is terrible. You could take a butter or a slice of butter and you could roll it through the end zone and no one will touch it on the Ole Miss defense. So I think I will pick Alabama to tear up Ole Miss.
All right. Hey, so riding around on Coach Madden's bus, are you guys friends or what's the deal there?
I just heard that there were awesome steaks here. Also, Sean Connery is back here in this bus too. That's why I wanted to come to see the best James Bond. The best James Bond, no doubt about it. And of course, the cameo in one of the Indiana Jones movies, I thought he was great there also. Would you say hi to him for us? I'm kind of starstruck. Sean Connery, I'm a big fan.
Hey, this is me, Sean Connery. I've got to tell you this right now, riding around on John Madden's Outback bus, I tell you, everything's great. The steak, except for the bloomin' onion. You won't stop shoving it into my face, Matt. It's really greasy, Matt. John won't leave me alone. He keeps on shoving the bloomin' onion in his face.
Let me talk to Coach Madden real quick, Sean. I need to ask him about the bloomin' onion if you'd put him on the phone real quick. Coach Madden, Coach Madden, it's not polite to shove the bloomin' onion in Sean Connery's face.
You know, if you've ever had the bloomin' onion, well, it's amazing. No, it's not, John. It's very greasy. Well, I mean, you know, the bloomin' onion over, you know, it's the Brett Favre of, you know, appetizers. You know, if Brett Favre, if he was an appetizer, he'd be bloomin' onion. You know, that's just what it would be. No, it's not, John. That's disgusting. Stop it.
Well, hey, listen, second day in a row, Coach Madden, I really do appreciate you putting these guys on the phone with us. Jim Rome, Sean Connery, and the great John Madden himself. Coach, have a safe trip. Be careful with that bloomin' onion, okay?
Hey, Matt, you have a good day.
See ya. That's fun. Who knew? Who knew that the bloomin' onion is the Brett Favre of appetizers? Who knew? And he's shoving it in Sean Connery's face. That is fantastic. 3-Hump Camel on the on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. 3-Hump Camel says coleslaw. Put some sauerkraut on mine. You're talking about like a hot dog bun with the Country Pleasin' jalapeno and cheddar in the hot dog bun, and instead of coleslaw, put sauerkraut. Now we're talking. More Bully says Brooks has the weird food addiction. # corn dogs and tater tots. Is he a corn dog eater? I'm not surprised. You know, I mean, kids like corn dogs. Tar Heel said, Matt, put that sausage on a bun with a little mustard. I also picked up their smoked Boston butt and a 5-pound bag of smoked sausage. Attaboy. That's the thing about it. You go to buy Country Meat Packers in Florence on Highway 49. I mean, they've got everything you could possibly think of. I've told you about those big, thick pork chops I got there once. But steaks and different cuts and Boston butts and just a little bit of everything. We gave you Josh's prediction earlier on the Country Pleasin' text line. 45-24 Bama over Ole Miss. So, you know, he likes a little closer game. And I will say this, JB, you know, one thing we didn't discuss when we picked that, when you had Bama in the 60s, I had them in the mid to upper 50s. You know, if it's a monsoon, I know they pushed the start of the game back, but if it's a monsoon and they've got natural grass there, that could bring that score down, potentially, you know?
Yeah, but to me, it's the way that field drains and just the way things are going, we're not going to get the rain. It seems like that they had predicted that we're going to get.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're saying that Kentucky and Tennessee areas are probably going to get more rain than Mississippi is.
On Saturday.
So, I just don't know that. I mean, the weather's definitely going to be a factor, but I don't know that.
I think we're blowing it out of proportion?
Well, I don't know, man. You can never blow a hurricane out of proportion.
Right. I don't know if you saw this, JB, but I tweeted out a picture. A buddy of mine had posted on Facebook. He's not on Twitter, but he was flying out evacuating and took a shot, and you could just see the miles and miles and miles of neighborhoods where all these homes have blue tarps on the roof still from Hurricane Laura.
Yeah.
And his comment was, you know, what do you think this hurricane is going to do to those houses?
Well, and that's one of the big things that I got up and did some housework this morning before I came into the studio, and one of the things that they kept talking about, the people in Lake Charles, there are a lot of things that are still debris that has not been picked up and pieces and parts, and they're talking about those things could be used just as massive projectiles. Because the winds are going to be somewhere between 110, 105 and 110 when it makes landfall.
When it makes landfall. Whew. Yeah, let's keep praying for them. You know, things are one thing. People, Just want people to be safe somehow. I know a lot of people got out of there. People were stuck in evacuation lines for long, long periods of time. One guy posted that it took him 4.5 hours to go 30 miles at one point. Whew. That's just rough. I hate it so much for him. True Maroon says, I think the Ole Miss score will be very similar to the score when they played Florida, 51-30. We can certainly see that. I mean, we all seem to believe that Ole Miss is going to move the ball some and score some points. It's just that we all seem to believe that Ole Miss has no chance of stopping Alabama's offense. Unnamed texter said, stocking up for the Hurricane, trying one of their flavors I haven't had, and he sent me a picture. He's out front at Country Meat Packers, and then he picked up Country Please and smoked sausage, black pepper and cheese. I have had it. It is fantastic. Look, while you're in there, if they have any of that maple, you may have already left, but if they have any maple, get it. The stuff is so popular that they sell out of it pretty quick. Danny on Facebook says, Alabama 56, Ole Miss 18, and then he's got Mississippi State 35, Kentucky 20. Let's talk to Ready Teddy on the Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. Teddy, what do you think about tomorrow?
Man, I'm kind of concerned because JB predicted a score of 63-21, which took me back to a nightmare Alabama-Ole Miss game in Jackson in the '89. Ole Miss jumped out to a 21-0 first quarter lead on Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama proceeded to score 62 unanswered points. Ole Miss scored a late touchdown to make it 62-27.
Do you remember the quarterback for Alabama that day in '89?
I do not.
That's Gary Hollingsworth from Hamilton, Alabama. And one of his running mates, a guy who he threw the football to a bunch, Craig Sanderson, who was his high school teammate from Hamilton, Alabama. And the tight end on that for his offense, for Gary Hollingsworth that year in '89, the tight end was a guy named Lamont Russell, and who was an outstanding pass catcher. And I'm trying to think of the back, but it seems like maybe Saran Stacy would have been the back on that '89 team, the running back for that Alabama team that year. Yeah, I remember that score.
I think that's right. I got home, my dad said, "So, son, what do you think?" I said, "I think Alabama's a lot better at football than us."
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Alabama wins by 35. I don't know about the final, but I think they'll win by about 35.
Yeah. But, again, I'm assuming that you think that, I mean, they'll score, but you think Ole Miss will probably score some points on them too, right?
Yeah. I think Ole Miss will score, but Alabama will stop us a lot more than we'll stop them.
Yeah. Yeah. That just seems to be kind of how everybody feels about it. And I think we are, we're just looking at the information we have. And the last few times they've played, it's kind of been that way. I don't remember the details of every detail of last year's game in Tuscaloosa, Teddy, but I remember Plumlee and them scored points on them in Tuscaloosa last year.
Yeah. It's one of those games, is there ever a win when you lose, but you play well and build something on from it. Hopefully it's kind of the idea is what I got in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Well,
right, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Teddy. Thank you. How about that? He brought it up in '89. That was an unbelievable deal for Ole Miss to jump out to that kind of lead, and then for that Alabama team to come back and put up those kinds of points. The reason I knew those players, I remember as a kid in Alabama, I was growing up. We lived in Russellville, Alabama, which is not far at all from Hamilton, Alabama, and I always thought it was neat as a kid that Alabama's quarterback was from Hamilton. And so I paid attention to Gary Hollingsworth. And I just remember at that age, I was junior high age, somewhere in there, and remember thinking, like Gary Hollingsworth from little bitty Hamilton, Alabama, and he can go play in the SEC. Well, maybe I could too. I think there are a lot of kids that you do that. Sometimes you think it seems like a long way off and way out there and out of reach. But then you see somebody from right down the road, that playing ball on the same junior high and high school fields right around you, and they did it. And you think, well, heck, if he could do it, maybe I could do it. So I've never forgotten about Gary Hollingsworth. All right, Joey is back on the Davini Equipment phone line. Joey, thanks for calling. What's up, man?
Hey, look, I just feel like this is going to be one of those crazy weeks in college football.
Okay.
I mean, it just follows suit. Everything is. I mean, last week was a bad week to be ranked. They call it the cupcake week. You know, I don't think people think Florida is just going to roll over Texas A&M unless that defense got better from week 2 to 3. That's probably not going to happen. That's going to be a close game, and I think I see the Alabama Ole Miss game being close for a little while.
Okay.
Maybe to the fourth quarter. I don't see this 35-point blowout. Now, I don't gamble, but I'd stay as far away from that thing as possible if you do. Don't go, what Joey said, because if you take my advice, you got a fool for an advisor. So don't do that. But I'm just being bold about it, and I don't think State can win in Kentucky as much as I would like to not see both of our SEC schools lose. I don't think they can do it. I think they got brought back to reality, who they are and what they got to prove on. And much like Florida, unless they fixed it in the last 6 days, I don't see it.
If you had to put a score on picking State and Kentucky, what would you say, Joey?
28-24. I think it's going to be a really close game, and Kentucky's going to do something crazy like that year they kicked a 59-yard field, 57, 59, 1-yard field goal, whatever it was. But something I've been meaning to tell you, Matt, is you mentioned that talking out of the side of your neck or talking out of both sides of your mouth. Now, in that one year that Starkville was just rolling, of course, not this year because they're doing that again. They're beating everybody by 40. But the one year that they were just rolling a few years ago and even went into Clinton and Cam Akers was going to do this and Cam Akers was going to do that, Starkville wasn't having any part of it, and they won that game. But the band would play this incredibly cool beat, man, like dum 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 dum, and then the drumette session or group or whatever they're called, I don't know all those terms. I've been out of high school a long time, but the group or whatever, and then the fans started getting involved. They would say, talking out of the side of your neck.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, Clinton never wanted. If the Clinton people that listen, if they were at that game, they never want to hear that again because it was in response of Cam Akers is going to run all over y'all. Well, Starkville wasn't having any part of that, and he didn't run all over him, and Starkville won that football game. So, but if we could ever find that soundbite, Matt, I know you want to play it because it is so cool. Well, you could probably call over and ask the band leader, hey, if you got that on a soundbite somewhere, because I'm telling you would love it, man. It's so fun.
Joey, I appreciate
every
it.
Every time I hear you make those terms, I think about it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Joey. Thanks for the call. Hey, and have a great weekend. Thank you. We'll see if he's right. He thinks Ole Miss Alabama's closer than people think. He does not think State can win at Kentucky, but thinks it will be a close game. Yeah, and that song, Neck, is one that the first time I ever heard it was the JSU Sonic Boom. I don't know where it originated, but that's the first place I heard a band play it. And then LSU starts it, and they kind of purport that they owned it or whatever, but they don't. It really is to me, it's a Sonic Boom thing. And then everybody kind of picked up on it after that. Fleet Feet Pete, while Joey was talking, he said, where's Cam Akers now? Yeah, he's doing pretty well, right? He's up there with the Rams in the NFL. He is doing all right. Decky from Brandon said, does the NBA still play? I never watch again. Well, you're not the only one. Their ratings have hit rock bottom, as low as maybe they've ever been. We'll see what the baseball postseason does, but it's doing okay. I mean, not bad. Certainly haven't had the kind of drop-off that the NBA ratings have had, for sure. Fletch says, Matt, you and Are You Ready Teddy were spot on for every detail. Saran and Kevin Turner were both the backs. Kevin Turner caught 10 passes, if I recall correctly, in that 89 Alabama Ole Miss game in Jackson. Well, see, and the thing we have we kind of need to pair with it how interesting a time that was at the end of the 80s in that Alabama Ole Miss series, right? Because in 88 was when Billy Brewer went in there with Thunder and Lightning, Sean Sykes, and who was the other back? Part of Thunder and Lightning for Ole Miss. And they won in Tuscaloosa in 1988. And that was a Thunder and Lightning game. Sean Sykes has played running back at Ole Miss from West Point. I consider him a friend. He lives here in Tupelo. He's a great guy. And they won in Tuscaloosa in 88. You come back, you play in Jackson at 89, and Ole Miss jumps out to a 21-0 lead, and it's like, here we go again. And then, boom, 60-something points, and Alabama rolls out of there a winner. Robert Smith, that's it, was Thunder. Sean Sykes and Robert Smith. The Thunder and Lightning game in Tuscaloosa, 88. 89, 60-something unanswered points after falling behind 21-0, and Gary Hollingsworth leads them to a win. That was an unbelievable 2-year, if you can call 2 years a stretch. That was a really interesting back-to-back games. Thanks for the info. All right, Southern Miss's game's not going to happen. COVID got it. High school scores from last night. More picks coming up later. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' Sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' Sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
a lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make.
Live in the studio. Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
The Reddit college football Twitter account with a shot says, I'm hearing reports that instead of Red River Shootout, the preferred nomenclature is Red River Battle for a Conference Win in Regulation between Texas and Oklahoma. It's funny to me that, Oklahoma has been in the playoffs. They've got multiple Heisman winners here the last few years. They've been in the playoffs the last few years. The wins, the conference championships, the best up-and-coming coach, Lincoln Riley, as good as they've been, as good as Oklahoma has been, they get upset in back-to-back weeks in a pandemic season, and people are out here already placing them in the same college football no man's land wilderness with Texas, where Texas has been for 15 years, mind you. They've kind of owned it. Where the big brands go and just sit out in the desert all by themselves, hoping that their brand will, they can live off their brand. That's where Texas has been for 15 years. Basically a complete and utter non-factor for the better part of 15 years. Oklahoma, playoff team, Heisman winners, all that stuff in that program, and they get upset twice in a row, pandemic season, and now Oklahoma's no better than Texas. Okay. Is that how it works? Because that's not how it should work, if you ask me. All right, y'all text me on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, 601 number, 885-ESPN. MW 24/7. Matt, I hear this A&M Florida with the analyst, but to go along with the last caller, the coach from Landry Sports said Florida was suspect on defense. Well, all I can say is, hail to the air raid. Kentucky welcomes back the Pirate. Hail State. Yeah. Mullen has not spoken just glowingly yet about his defense, right? And that's pretty telling to me. I mean, he's not a coach who does intentionally go out here and just blow smoke. But I think that, suspect on defense. Ole Miss moved the ball on him. South Carolina did. I mean, but those are capable offensive teams. I mean, the question you have to ask in this one is, whose offense do you want? Ole Miss's, A&M's, or South Carolina's? Well, it ain't A&M's to this point. I know they, 24 whatever points against Alabama last week. Really. So that's kind of the way I look at that. I know A&M's at home, but, is A&M going to stop Florida? No. Certainly don't expect them to. JB and others seem to think that Jimbo Fisher is kind of starting to coach for his job. Is that fair, JB, to say it that way?
Yeah, I think so.
Starting this week?
As fickle as universities are, especially with them paying him that kind of money.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, A&M probably, and I don't have the figures to back this up. I'm just going to say it. they probably have the largest athletic budget than any other school in the SEC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, they got the money. Well, they and Texas. I mean, neither of those schools have any excuse from a resources standpoint. In fact, I think A&M and Texas both are great examples that, in spite this being a popular belief, you cannot go and buy wins. You can't. You can't go buy championships. I mean, you can buy a good roster with NFL players on it. Okay? You can. You can go buy out a coach and bring him in there and pay him whatever. You can buy real estate and contract with contracting companies. You can build the biggest stadium, and you can have all the allegiance you want to have. But that may not necessarily translate, and in a lot of times it doesn't necessarily translate to wins. It's not what it is. You just can't do it. And that may be their problem.
I think the other part of it, too, is these guys that come from the Saban tree, they just, I think they're held to a higher expectancy than other coaches are. Mm-hmm. You know, Kiffin, think about it. I mean, we were all shocked when Saban hired him, right?
Right.
Probably even shocked more by the way he hired him than the way he was fired, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
But and you look at Muschamp, you look at Jimbo, and what's the other guy's name that went to Colorado State for a while? And
McElwain.
Yeah, McElwain. They, you know, apart from Saban, and it's still to be seen about Pruitt, you know, and Smart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but heck, man, you and I could go coach at Georgia with the talent they got.
Right.
I mean, my Lord, Sam Pittman was there for a while.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, too, you know, Herman at Texas, I look at him and good coach and everything, comes out of the Urban Meyer thing, but was good at Houston, right? But I tell you, man, I have not been impressed. And I know that they're a little better since he got there and all that kind of stuff at Texas. But, you know, the way he left Houston, he and his agent on purpose, when they had a game to play, floating all kinds of stuff out there, basically holding his current team hostage, didn't care one bit what happened to them. When you got a bunch of kids who've played their butts off for you, you don't care. Just float whatever out there that serves your own purpose. The timing that they did that right before that bowl game, and it was just so selfish and just sleazy, and it gave me this really bad feeling about Tom Herman, because there's no doubt the coach knows what that agent's doing sometimes.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing where he personally himself got into this gesturing, making fun of Drew Lock, the quarterback for Missouri in that bowl game a couple of years ago when Texas played Missouri. Drew Lock and him scored first, and Lock had this touchdown celebration thing he'd do like he was putting on a belt or something. And then there was the Texas head coach over there gesturing, making fun of it himself, like the most childish thing I've seen on a sideline during a game from a college head coach in a long time. I just don't think much of him. So the fact that Texas continues to underachieve and underachieve and underachieve and underachieve, you know, they went and hired a guy who, you know, color me not surprised, frankly. Texas A&M and Florida, they have played each other a grand total of 4 times in history. I'm looking this up at Winsipedia.com. I tell you all about it. You need to go check it out yourself. Winsipedia.com. Wins, the letter I, pedia.com. You can compare any 2 teams, look at the series history and all kinds of stuff in that matchup. A&M and Florida, who play this weekend, have played each other 4 times previously, and it's 2-2. 2 wins for A&M, 2 wins for Florida. And look how they're spread out. A&M won in 2017 in Gainesville by 2 points, 19-17. All right. Florida won in College Station in 2012, 20-17. Muschamp over Kevin Sumlin. Prior to that, 1977, A&M won in El Paso, 37-14. Emory Ballard, the head coach at Texas A&M in 1977. And then prior to that, the 4th meeting, but was the first actually in the all-time, 1962 in Gainesville, Florida won it 42-6. Those are the 4 all-time meetings. And twice since A&M came into the league. In 2012, Florida won in College Station 20-17. And then a few years ago, 2017, A&M returned the favor, beat them 19-17 in Gainesville. And I guess that was after a firing or something. Randy Shannon was your interim head coach there at Florida at that time. 27. When I say firing, I guess after Muschamp or whatever. Prior to, would that be it? Muschamp? I don't know. My dates are off. Real quick. Southern Miss not going to play this weekend. It came out yesterday. Florida Atlantic USM game scheduled for Saturday in Hattiesburg. I think it was supposed to be a 6:30 maybe. Has been postponed. FAU said the reason for the postponement was COVID-19 related. Quote from FAU Athletics Director Brian Wyatt, "The health and safety of our student athletes will be our highest priority as we deal with this pandemic. We'll continue to work diligently with Conference USA and Southern Miss to reschedule this game," so they're not going to play. You have COVID positive tests. We don't know how many, but apparently you have some of those, and that's going to force Southern Miss to have no game this weekend. And I think Southern Miss needed to play after playing well on the road last week at North Texas and getting a win. I think they needed to come in there and play at home and kind of build on that. And so another hiccup in this season for Southern Miss. And looky there, Chris Brooks at MS Gridiron on Twitter just sent the link out to MississippiGridiron.com where you can look at all the Thursday night scores, because you had a bunch of Thursday night scores from around the state of Mississippi. A bunch of them. I mean, it's like looking at Friday night. And so a bunch of final scores from around the state. You can look at it. You want to see all those scores, look at it yourself. It's right there, MississippiGridiron.com, Thursday night scores, or look up Chris on Twitter at MS Gridiron. He's got the link. I clicked it, so we'll have a chance to look at some high school football stuff today in hour 3. Coming up next, we'll do some more picks. JB and I will put our names on it, including Florida A&M, Tennessee and Georgia, and Mississippi State versus Kentucky. All coming up. Next, in the Farm Bureau studio. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country Pleasin' sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan. Put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasin' sausage, countrypleasin.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from them. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasin', please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Hey, are you buying land or selling it? You need to let Matt Anderson with National Land Realty help you out. Matt Anderson.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right. Here we go. Rolling along with you here. About to wrap up hour number 2. We'll get into some picks. Coming up, speaking of, unnamed texter on the Country Pleasin' text line says State over Kentucky 34-21. There you go. There's a 13-point win for State in the prediction category. This is Rob from Grenada. Rob from Grenada says State over Kentucky 34-21. Earlier, Joey called in. He was bringing up a past Starkville-Clinton game and something about Cam Akers. And somebody commented and said, how's Cam Akers doing now? Yeah, he'd be one of the running backs for the Los Angeles Rams in the NFL. Joey said on the Country Pleasin' text line, if we're going to go there, Pete, that Starkville team has 2 guys in the NFL. I'd think about who that is. So here it is. Chris on the Country Pleasin' text line said Clinton beat Starkville 35-28 in 2016 with Willie Gay leading the way for Starkville. The same year that Cam Akers led the Arrows, wiped Pearl out for the 6A state title, and then he said, history is hard, Joey. It's hard, Joey. History is difficult. So Real C is on the Divinity Equipment phone, and I think wants to weigh in. Real C, hit me. What's up?
Matt, how you doing today, buddy?
As far as I know, I'm all right.
Man, it just breaks my heart for people to be down in the doldrums and not understand things clearly and kind of try to make light and make fun of people and don't have the facts straight.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to see if I could call in a dedication for a poor soul such as that, Mr. Joey. You got it queued up there, JB?
I love it. I love it.
History hurts, baby. Have a great day, Matt.
Thank you. Talking out the side of your neck. It's the first time in this show's history that the callers are actually working with the producer and calling for sound clips, JB. That was awesome. We need to do that more often. He's like, cue
we
it
do
up.
what we can, right?
That's right. We do what we can. That's like Chicken Hawk has his own sound effect. I mean, how many shows do you know that do that for people? Fantastic. Hog Jowl, welcome back. Hog Jowl on the Country Pleasing text line says, Hog Jowl has returned. Great hearing the show again. Go Hogs. Congrats on the win, Hog Jowl. But even more so, congrats on the great fishing trip. I saw the pictures. Jealous. Got my hand up. Jealous. But proud for you. Glad y'all had a good time. More Bully. Divini Equipment phone? Hit me more, Bully. What's up?
What's going on, Matt?
I don't know.
I figured that.
Hey, we had a problem with the phone, and More Bully had called earlier, but the phone kind of freaked out for a few moments.
Okay,
and,
gotcha.
He thought I deliberately had not told you that he called, so I had to text him to call back.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you have. What's up, More Bully?
Well, when I called back, I told him, I said, JB, you remember that scene in Roadhouse where he ripped the guy's throat out? He said, yeah. I said, that's how I feel you just did the thing. Like, you just ripped my throat out. I mean, 11 minutes, Matt.
11 minutes? That's what you held on for 11 minutes?
Yeah, that's how much I love you.
That's pretty awesome. Well, I'm glad you're back.
So, listen, I want to back up and talk some eggs and food.
Okay.
You know, the number one issue I have with omelets and eggs and people, even restaurants, they don't season their eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just put the eggs in and put the whatever they want in it. But me, my wife says I make the best omelets ever. And she even says when she has one at restaurants, she refuses to order them anymore because I make the best omelet. But you cook all your ingredients before you put them in the eggs, right?
Yeah.
And you get them seasoned to their own seasoning, and you also season the eggs, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and you're going to be, it'll change your life. Yeah.
Put some milk in there to fluff them up, yeah.
Yeah, I don't do it for my omelets, though. But yeah, and you know what I found out during all this COVID crisis? We really got in the kitchen. You know, a potato is the most versatile vegetable out there, I think. And
wait, you're saying potato is a vegetable? Isn't it like a fruit?
The root. No, that's a tomato.
No.
My answer to that would be, who cares? We know what a potato is. And just cook it and let's eat it.
Yeah. So I got into hash browns. And I've got a mandolin, a hash brown, the season.
Hey, More Bully, hang on, man. It's that whole last part after the potato thing. It was cutting in and out. So what do you do with the potato? Oh, God.
And I make brown. And pretty much brown egg.
Hey, More Bully, we've got a bad connection. We're going to have to, here's a sad thing about live radio sometimes. More Bully hung on for 11 minutes. And we got him back. We got half the call, and now it's cutting out on him. And I can't put the other listeners through it. We got to get a better connection. So maybe you have to call us back for a second time in order to.
Yeah, because I wanted to figure out what he's going to do to that potato.
I just wanted to figure out where that call was going. That's all I wanted to do. The real Eric says More Bully has that government phone. Is that what it is? And we're going to we get into high school football in hour 3, Joey and everybody. We're going to straighten this thing out on the history of Starkville and Clinton. Okay, as y'all are sending it to me, we're going to do that. Hey, but right now, JB, I want to pick 3 more games, 3 more college football games. Okay, so let's do it. First up, Florida, Texas A&M. I'm going with, and I've written these down so I know. I'm going with Florida, big winner, 34-17. What do you have?
I'm going to go 41-24. Gators.
41-24. I guess kind of figuring, hey, if they can score on Bama, they can score on Florida, but can't stop Florida. Okay, so you got them 41-24. I got Florida 34-17. Georgia, Tennessee. I'm going to go Georgia 28, Tennessee 14.
You know, I think it's going to be a little closer for some reason. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I don't think Tennessee's going to be able to do the things they want to do, but I think Georgia will hang on to win. I'm going to go 24 Georgia, 17 Tennessee.
Okay, so we're kind of in the same category there. I got it stretched out a little more than you. All right, and then Mississippi State, Kentucky. I got Mississippi State 31, Kentucky 28. A Brandon Rees field goal being the difference in the ball game because I think he's automatic.
That's pretty close to what I'm thinking, but I'm going to go a little higher scoring game, and I'm going to say 34-31 Bulldogs.
Ooh, so we're in that 3-point range. Either way, we're getting a good ball game, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So there you have it. Sven says Gators by 3 touchdowns. He's coming in live from Germany and says Tennessee 24, Georgia 21 in an upset. Turn that apple cart right on over. Just turn it over, says Sven. And then he says, if Kylan Hill can play, we win by 2 touchdowns. Well, I'm told that Kylan Hill can play. And he likes it 2 touchdowns, 34-21. All right. Those picks are in. So what do we have? I got Bama big, as you would think. I got Auburn by a little, right around 10 points at home over Arkansas. Did we get another one in there? No, that was the first 2 that we did, and then we did these 3. I think yesterday I didn't put a score on it, but I picked Oklahoma to beat Texas. What did they call it? What did Reddit call it? The Red River Battle for a regular season win in regulation. Something like that. And unfortunately, Southern Miss's game with FAU postponed. So there's that. Tonight, college football, you have Louisville versus Georgia Tech. Yeah, I might want to watch that one. Louisville, Georgia Tech, a couple of 1 and 2 teams. It's at Georgia Tech in Atlanta. ESPN tonight, 6 o'clock. I tell you what, last night, JB, we turned on the live stream. I just used my phone from C Spire. I go to the Madison Central website, click on their live stream, and then airplayed it to our television, and we sat in there and watched the online stream of Madison Central at Warren Central last night. And you know what it is? It's like we know these local coaches and some of the local teams and players, and it makes it even more interesting for us as a family watching those when we are watching local teams on our television like that. I think we're only scratching the surface of the potential for viewership of high school sporting events online with the home viewing experience on your TV of what's going to be available to people over the next 10 to 15 years. I think it's really going to explode. I honestly do. I'm going to find a high school game, be watching that one tonight. I know there's a college game on, but I actually would rather find a high school game. Y'all stick around.
Letting up.
I'm actually going to head up to Biggersville up in Alcorn County tonight. 1A Biggersville, they're 2-0 this year. Scored 60 points in their ball game last week, so they're off to a really good start. Been by there a bunch. You can see the school and the field from the highway. There's a school, a water tower, a barbecue place, and a Dollar General, and a lot of really good folks.
I started at Biggerville in the 2nd grade in 1966, and I've been here since the 2nd grade. So people in Biggerville have been so good to me, and the good Lord, I'm just really blessed by what I've been able to experience. After school Thursday, there was 28 kids out there, and we counted the orders after. You know, we're just blessed to support the school, and they sure support me.
This is the busy night, like everyone's coming.
It's a close-knit community. I mean, they love the kids, and Like I said, I've been in Biggerville for 60 years, and it's just a great place. I mean, great place to raise your family and kids and support the school.
Smithville, who's always kind of been a 1A powerhouse, hasn't played yet this year. They haven't been able to really even practice as much because of COVID. So kind of an interesting dynamic because Biggersville has never beaten Smithville. At least that's what I'm told. So it's actually a huge opportunity for that community.
I was supposed to stay
I'll take
next week.
hamburger and
Monday.
Coke. You got any chips?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's game between the Biggersville Lions and the Smithville Seminoles. And what a game we have in store tonight as the 2-0 Lions take on the 0-0 Smithville Seminoles.
Well, let's see if the Lions can get their run game going with senior number 23, Goldman Butler.
So tonight's matchup getting ready to take place as the Biggersville Lions won the toss. They have elected to defer to the second half. We thank you all for tuning in to tonight's ball game.
Of course, Smithville brings tradition that people long for, and that's kind of what we long for here. You know, again, we're building it, but they've kind of set the standard, especially in 1A in North Mississippi and across Mississippi in general. So yeah, it's exciting. To my knowledge, they've told me we've never beaten them. So what an accomplishment that would be, and that's what we shoot for, and just to kind of set the tone for the whole season for bigger and better things, hopefully.
Bowler got a couple of blocks. He's going to bust through. He's going to break free. One man to beat. Breaking tackle. And will finally get pushed out of bounds at around the 10-yard line. So a great job right there for the Biggersville Lions. Rousey shotgun takes snap and hands it off to Butler once again. Butler up the middle. Got some blocks. Going to be handed off to Butler. Round to the left side, and he'll bust into the end zone. Butler around to the left side, and he'll walk into the end zone once again. As the Lions would take a commanding 14-0 lead early on here in this ball game.
That looks great. Way to go. Wait. Good call. Good job, guys. Good. Way to go.
It's a hometown. It's just a big family. Everybody here knows everybody. Friday nights over the last 4 or 5 years have just increasingly become more and more exciting. You know, our team, these kids have grown to start in 8th grade and 9th grade as freshmen and played a lot of football and come a long way. This is a pretty good crowd. You know, we were limited on the number of tickets we can sell, so obviously normally there would be a lot more people here. But yeah, they definitely got a good crowd tonight.
Take snap, and they're going to go to the air. They're going to throw deep. They might have a man. Intercepted again.
By number 8, Jarrell Jones. That's the second pick of the game.
2 3-and-outs, 2 interceptions for the Lions. They are turning on all cylinders tonight here, Devin, as they will get the ball back once again. Another opportunity here to score. Here is the clock going to tick down 2-0. The Lions are going to take a dominant victory over the Smithville Seminoles, 64-0.
And I do think that this could be the Lions' year as they show dominance in their first 3 games, but it's still pretty early.
A great game tonight for the Biggersville Lions. We thank you all for joining us here. Signing off from the Lions Den. The final score is 64-0. The Biggersville Lions win. This is Lions sportscaster Aiden McAllister, joined with me by Devin Bullock. We thank you all for joining in. Thank you and have a good night.
This is WRKS Pickens Jackson. Live
in the studio.
Live and local. This is the Matt Wyatt Show. Talking about sports from around the world and right here at home. Streaming to you at the Zone 1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
Back with you. Here we go. Hour number 3 of the show on this Friday. Presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Overstreet Properties and overstreetproperties.com. If you're headed to Starkville, moving up there permanently, headed up for several weekends, you need a condo to stay in when you come in town for ball games, or maybe you're leasing an apartment if you're a student. Anything residential. You need to go to Overstreet Properties in Starkville. It's overstreetproperties.com. Tell them I sent you. All right, so here we go. Hour 3 in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. Now listen. JB, the Clinton Starkville back and forth is heated.
Yeah, it's getting pretty thick.
I didn't see this coming today.
Well, it is a Friday night, and it is October.
Is it a full moon? I mean,
no, that was last week. Last week moon was gorgeously resplendent. Yes,
the harvest moon. That's what you had. That's all I know. I just know the name. It was Harvest Moon. It came up and it was red.
Yeah, it's also a great album by Neil Young.
Yeah,
Harvest Moon. Yeah. Harvest is also a great album by Neil Young. Since you were talking about it,
okay. I heard Neil Young sing about her.
That's right.
I heard old Neil put her down.
Southern man don't need him around
anyhow. That's right. We can just lyric our way through a solid hour of radio if we wanted to, couldn't we?
I actually, somebody challenged me one time to write my pastoral church article using nothing but song lyrics. I did one time.
You know what I'm going to do? If State and Ole Miss both lose, then when we come back on Monday for the show, right, I'm going to somehow, some way include John Prine, Long Monday.
Oh, what a great tune.
That's a great tune. It really is. Going to be a long Monday. Sitting on top of a mountain by a river that has no end.
Gonna be a long Monday.
You and me buzzing around a glass of sweet Chablis.
Chablis.
Okay, the Clinton Starkville thing. Let me just see if I can sort of get this teed up, because I think it needs to be teed up. The best way I know how is to just go back and let's do a timeline. Joey called in. During Joey's call, he was making the point that in a Starkville at Clinton game when Cam Akers was playing for Clinton, he said Starkville went in there and won it, and that all week everybody around the whole state had talked about Cam Akers, that during the game Starkville was having none of it. He went in there and beat them, or Starkville went in there and beat them, and that the Starkville band was playing Talking Out the Side of Your Neck loud, and all the fans were getting into it, and he said that it was clear that they were directing it at the talk that week, or leading up to that game that week, about Cam Akers, which struck a match and lit the fuse of our friends from Clinton, including Real C, who called in and said, here's what it sounds like, and JB played the song for him. Chris texted in and said, that ain't true. Here are the facts. Okay, and it got going back and forth. That's the history of this. Chris said, and again, I'm going back here to some of the history on this. He said Clinton beat Starkville in 2016, 35-28. Willie Gay was leading the way for Starkville. Same year that Cam Akers was leading the Arrows, they wiped Pearl out for the 6A title game. And then he said history is hard. All right. So there's a lot in there. There's a rebuttal, but then there's a shot at Pearl. Okay. Then we get a screenshot of the box score from the game in 2016 or 15 or something like that he sent us. He said, here's all the records you need. I mean, there it shows it to us. They beat Pearl 49-35. Well, see, we even had a rebuttal on that. Somebody texts in here. It's an unnamed texter said Clinton did not wipe Pearl out in that state championship game. They won by 2 touchdowns, but it was closer than that. That's kind of, I don't know about saying that. But then it says Cam was definitely the difference that night. He threw an incredible touchdown pass right before halftime that gave Clinton a lead that Pearl could not overcome. Give Pearl credit for hanging with Cam and his team better than anyone else could have. See, there was in the rebuttal about Starkville and Clinton, there was a shot at Pearl, and now we've got a rebuttal about Pearl. This is where it all is at this point. It's continuing to go that way. Chris, the last thing that Chris sent us after the screenshot was Clinton did lose to Starkville twice during the 2015 season, once in a regular season in the second round of the playoffs. They are easily one of the best in the state annually, so he's giving a little bit. But Joey, meanwhile, has been just texting away like crazy. He said, what does this say here? This is all today? Yeah, this is all today. From Joey. What has Akers changed in Los Angeles? Nothing really. What had A.J. Brown done in Nashville? A whole bunch. He says, 45-27 Starkville in 2015. Joey then said, find somebody else to come back. History, i.e. easy. I know more about high school football on accident than those two will ever know on purpose. He said, I never said in a year. He said, twisting facts is hard. Then he said, those folks came at me way wrong, Matt Wyatt. Radio bullies who were wrong the whole way through. I never said a year, just the time frame. The school's played at least 3 times with those groups. Hashtag facts are hard. Hashtag 102 average in history by me. How can you make more than 100? Joey said.
You got the bonus question.
Oh, I see. He got the bonus. I never even got to the bonus. Joey says, finally here, now I said a Starkville versus Clinton game. A Starkville versus Clinton game. He didn't say what year. That's right. He said, I did not say where the game was played. Go back and listen. I never said a year. So see, that I would actually vouch for that Joey didn't say which year it was. He was just remembering a year that this particular thing happened. Let's see if we can smooth this thing out with Joey on the Divinity Equipment phone line right now. Joey, you got the floor, man. Go ahead.
Hey, Matt, real quickly, I didn't say a year. I never said a place. One, I would not go to Clinton. I watched the game in Starkville. It was 45-27. They played, from what I understand, they did it again. It didn't work out so well for them. So that I could see why they would remember it that way. I'm just saying that I never said those things, so they twisted my words, and to tell me history is hard. I tell you what, Real C. Collins, I'll have a history challenge with you any day of the week, 20 questions, and I'll spot you the first 15, buddy, for $1,000. Have a good day.
Ouch.
Gauntlet has been through. Is that what they said? They threw down the gauntlet?
Yeah. He drew a line in the sand.
Well, think about that, though. We're going to do a 20-question thing. He's going to spot him the first 15 for $1,000. Whew. I just want to know what those other 5 are. They must be hard. They must be hard. That boy Joey made no bones about it. Didn't like it. Earlier we were talking about coaches in the Saban coaching tree. Quirk texted us and said, speaking of coaches under the Saban tree, did y'all hear yesterday Kiffin said he has a group text with him, Muschamp, Pruitt, and Kirby. Wouldn't you love to see some of that? You ain't no telling what's in there. Here's the thing about it, though, Quirk, and I want you to hear this. This is not like some sort of exclusive information. It is not a hot take, okay? Because lots and lots of people know this. They may have a group text going on between Kiffin, Muschamp, Pruitt, and Kirby. That may be true. But if it is true, I can promise you this. Not everybody on that group text is as fond of each other as they probably make out to be.
Notice who's not on that group text.
Let's see, who's not?
The one that we were just talking about last hour.
Oh, Jimbo?
Yeah.
He's, I mean, Jimbo's old enough to be Lane's daddy. Maybe not. Maybe not. But I met Jimbo Fisher in Tupelo once. This is over 10 years ago. He was at Florida State then. His
Back
son.
in your TV days?
No, I was doing tourism, sports tourism.
Oh, okay.
For a period of time for the city. And we had a baseball tournament at the new baseball. It was new then, baseball complex connected to Ballard Park here in Tupelo. And his son was on one of the teams. And I was out there, and all I had was a baseball, and he signed it for me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I gave that Jimbo Fisher signed baseball to Brandon Walker when we were sharing an office before he got hired away by Barstool Sports. And I have no idea what he did with it. I think he took it. I think he did take it. I don't know what he did with it. When Brandon left to go to Barstool, he left me two things. One, a television. Two, a little figurine of Dale Murphy, my favorite player growing up. The TV may come and go, but I'm never letting go of Dale Murphy figurine given to me by Brandon Walker of Barstool Sports. It was a heck of a
man.
gift.
Don't forget now when you come down here, you've got to wear that Tony Gwynn jersey, and I'm going to wear my Dale Murphy jersey.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Photo time. We'll do it right there.
I'm going to get a milk crate to stand on, so I'll be your height.
Okay. Sounds good. The 2006 Egg Bowl, JB.
Mm-hmm.
In Oxford. The television crew for that game, play-by-play, Gary Darby on CSS, I think. Gary Darby, and the color analysts for that game, two of them, Walker Jones and Matt Wyatt.
Walker Jones. Now, is that the same guy that was the linebacker at Ole Miss back in the day?
Yes, we played against each other. He was maybe a year or so older, but but yes, okay.
My father-in-law coached him at JA.
Really?
Yeah.
Very cool. And
Thought the world of that dude. Said he was one of the best kids he ever coached.
No
he
question.
coached for over 45 years.
No question. He's a great guy. He was a good player, too. Like, the thing I always appreciated about Walker, he was an overachiever.
Yeah.
Not as big, not as fast, but just could, he just outwork everybody. And anyway, let me think about it. Every time I run into Gary, people will recognize Gary Darby as, he's done radio for the Memphis Grizzlies, pregame, postgame for a lot of years, and he did a lot of things over the years, too, for Ole Miss. And great guy. And so Walker's about 6'5". I'm 6'5". And for the TV opening shot at the beginning of the game, they had Gary in the middle of us.
Yeah.
As the play-by-play guy, and had me and Walker on either side. And they came walking in there with one of those, like, apple crates.
Yeah.
And said, Gary, look out. And they put it down there and made him stand on it.
Like an old Peaches Records album crate.
Yeah, so Gary, the play-by-play, is standing on this box in between Walker and I. We had the biggest laugh about it. And every time I run into Gary, he'll inevitably bring that up.
No, I thought you were going to sing Randy Newman's song to him.
Short people. I mean, it's a very sarcastic, satirical song.
Yeah, and because Randy Newman's only about 5'4".
Well, that too. But you listen to the lyrics of that, it's pretty rough. Short people got no reason to live. That's kind of the hook in the
They got little hands, great big eyes, they walk around telling all kinds of lies.
Telling great big lies. That's sure.
Short people.
Short people. But anyway, that 06 Egg Bowl, that was the Fumble-Rooski game for Dexter McCluster. I want to say they scored with him. They ran a Fumble-Rooski. Ed Orgeron ran a Fumble-Rooski with success with Dexter McCluster in the Egg Bowl. That was the one. I think there was a big kick return in that game for McCluster also. I don't remember too much about it, but that's about what I do remember. Okay, a couple of texts, and then we're going to look at the high school stuff from last night, and we'll get into some high school stuff here today. So here we go. Bulldog West on the Country Pleasing text line. Matt, I may have missed it, but what was your pick for the Bama Ole Miss game? I picked Alabama. I think I said 55-24. Is that what I said? 55-24. That's kind of where I have it. I don't think Ole Miss puts up 30 on Alabama. I don't think Alabama puts up 60 on Ole Miss, but that's kind of where I had it. JB actually had Bama, low 60s.
63-21.
63-21. So that's what we had, Wes. Thanks. Louvier, Country Pleasing text line, says, if you lyric your way through this hour, you'll be, quote, living on a prayer.
That's it.
Excellent text.
Or flying through the danger zone.
Mm-hmm. Or free falling.
With Cheez-Its.
Yeah, all right. Chris, Pearl hung in there in 2016, but it wasn't close as the score. Pearl went on to win handily in 2017. Got them bonus points in history. That's special. I don't take checks. No checks. Okay. Tyler. What did it say here? Yeah, something like going back and forth over history. He said, I guess it really is a dog-eat-dog world. Do we know, though, that Joey, who was arguing with Chris and with Real C, do we know that that's Bulldogs? They're all Bulldogs? Do we know that?
Yeah, I would think, yeah.
Okay. They're pretty close to it anyway. Okay.
Yeah. This just goes to show you, man. And I would be interested to get your perspective on this, because I've talked to a lot of high school athletes that, didn't necessarily make it to the next level like you did. And, they talk about that camaraderie with those kids because you grew up with most of those kids, went to elementary school, junior high, high school with them.
Right.
That high school thing it's somehow more entrenched in the fabric of the tapestry of your being, I should say.
Yeah.
That, even though they may like the same college team, man, you talk about them arrows or them jackets.
Right.
And people going to get all up in your business.
Absolutely. There's no question. I mean, just because we may be talking about a fan base of 10,000 instead of 100,000, but it makes it's no less heated among those 10,000.
Not at all, man.
And that's right. There's actually a little more history behind it. There are. I think let's go to one of those communities. Let's go to Clinton. Okay. I guarantee you, in Clinton, we can find a whole lot more people that can tell us about Clinton games from the 80s and 90s than people in Clinton who can recite the details of State and Ole Miss games from the 80s and 90s.
Right.
The high school stuff is intimate, man. And
it is.
It's one of the things I love about it and miss it. I really miss it. I'm right there with you, 100%. Uncle D on the text line says, Joey didn't even ask him how big old boy are you?
Oh, man.
I thought he was.
Think about Raj.
Yeah, I know it. He loved that.
How big a boy are you?
Well, my God. You'll go to jail? I will not. I remember that one. That was a great one. Well, you'll go to jail? No, I will not. Okay, scores from last night. You had a ton of them. It might as well have been a Friday night, but with fall break and weather, so many games got moved up to Thursday. And there's a big list of them. So I'm not going to read off every single one of them, but I am going to hit a few high points. In case y'all don't know it, Biggersville continues to just beat the tar out of everybody in North Mississippi in 1A football. Biggersville beat Baldwin last night 40-13. So I say that small school football, circle Biggersville, they're going to be something to be reckoned with for everybody. Calhoun City beat Eupora 24-7. You had, this is a little surprising to me to give up that many points, but I think Choctaw County's good. Choctaw County beat Houston 59-36 last night. You had a good game between Cleveland Central and Vicksburg, 24-21, Cleveland Central winning that one. DeIberville had no trouble on the coast last night, 46-zip over West Harrison. Crystal Springs, no trouble with McLaurin, 41-zip for Crystal Springs. How about that? How about East Central beating Wayne County 14-3? What you want to bet that was in a monsoon sloshing around?
I talked to a buddy of mine this morning that lives down in Gulfport, just checking on him. and they're really not that bad down there.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're. He said, it's probably worse up here.
Yeah.
So it might not have been too wet last night. I know. It started raining about midway through the MR game, and when I left out of here, we'd probably gotten a quarter inch of rain.
Yeah. Lake Cormorant, huge upset over West Point, 35-26. Huge upset. Laurel over Natchez, 57-38. Leake Academy over Wayne Academy, 34-14. Louisville beat Choctaw Central, 35-3. MRA over Hartfield. MRA over Hartfield, 42-14.
And it wasn't even that close.
Yeah, 42-14.
MRA was never in doubt on that game. Matter of fact, they're probably one of the best MAIS teams I've seen in a few years.
In a long time. I mean, they put up 55 on Corinth, who's won recent state championships, and they got it going. I know every team's not the same, but still it's a really good program, I mean.
And they're just extremely well coached.
They are solid.
They don't make a bunch of mistakes.
They're solid. Neshoba Central, I think they're putting people on notice. 35-12 over Canton. You had an overtime game last night. Low scoring in North Mississippi. New Hope 16, South Tilla 15 in OT. How about this score? Northeast Jones beat Florence 8-5. You will not see that high school score often. More high school scores from last night. Look ahead to some Friday night games, and so on and so forth, coming up.
I am not saying by any stretch of the imagination that we're going to win tonight. I will say, Germantown's going to be a tough out for everybody this year. I don't blame you for picking Warren Central. History shows they'll win the game tonight, but I think we'll play them tougher than what people think we will.
And now Warren Central's good. Warren Central's good. Solid team. Like Germantown, this is the year they could do something. That's one of the biggest games tonight. If I could be at a game, that's where I would be. I'll be headed to Vicksburg tonight, get to check out Warren Central hosting Germantown. Big 6A ball game. And, Germantown loaded with really good players. They're off to a 3-0 start. Warren Central, 3-0. It's a huge matchup. I can't wait to see that one tonight.
I think we're going goalpost to goalpost, sideline to sideline. Goalpost to goalpost, sideline to sideline.
Starting the regional play tonight. Now Nick Barnes, I think, is going to check into the game alongside Branson Robinson. Harmer in shotgun formation. He's going to go to Nick. Nick gets a hold, and he breaks it to the 30. Up to the 29-yard line. I'm looking for a big game for Nick tonight.
Thompson again, first and goal. Up and over. Is he in? Side judge running in. Touchdown, Vikings. There's the call. Late signal,
right through the trip.
There's the give. Trey Hall sweeping right side. Gets the block for the wide receiver. He's in the secondary. Down the right sideline. The chase is on. 30, 25, 20. Nobody's going to catch him. Trey Hall to the end zone. Touchdown. 80-plus yards for the Vikings.
86-yard run that time by Hall to
side. Here's the snap. They give it to TJ. Ball is on the ground.
Oh, wow.
Germantown says they have it. Germantown bench went nuts. Germantown does have the football. Everybody in tight for the Vikes. Quick drop. It's deflected in the air. Taylor Smith again. He's done it again. A pick six for Smith.
Second one of the season, Jared. He had one a couple of weeks ago, and Taylor Smith takes it in. games tonight. You saw the halftime adjustments by Coach Josh Morgan and his team.
It's huge for right now. It's huge for down the road, guys. You set yourself up very nicely. Now, what we have got to focus on is we're going to enjoy this son of a gun. You hear me? We're going to enjoy it, guys. We're going to relish it. And we're coming back, and we're getting ready to get back.
Really outscored Germantown as they came out. Great defensive plays from Taylor Smith and Tevin Bell. And a wonderful job to close out this game for the Big Red.
Why choose the rest when you could choose the best? Dependable, hardworking contractors. America's Best Roofing. 601-939-9991. MyRoofMyWay.com.
Hey, y'all, the state of Mississippi is open for the biz, and Visit Mississippi would love for you to visit the Mississippi Delta, the casinos, the parks, and the local restaurants, all the cool things to see and do in the state of Mississippi. Now, follow Visit Mississippi at Visit MS on Instagram and at Visit MS on Facebook. Hit the website, visitmississippi.org.
It's not Christmas yet, but it might as well be at Live Oaks Golf Club in Jackson. Join now and pay no dues until February 2021. As at Live Oaks, we have a membership to fit your needs, and all memberships include pool access. Call 601-982-1231 for more information. Roosevelt's is now open, so grab a bite. Learn more by visiting the website at liveoaksgc.com and follow us on all social media pages at Live Oaks Golf. Live Oaks Golf Club, where we have the best greens and the coldest beer.
Come on, let's go! Let's go! Go! With more of the Matt Wyatt Show. The guy who, if he's not talking sports, hey, he's fishing for bass, okay? But he's right here, right now. Online at 1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
Hey, back with you. Hour 3 rolling along here on this Friday with you. If you're headed to a high school game, be careful. Hope you get there safely. Enjoy the night. I'm not actually going to one tonight. I'm going to prop my feet up in the living room with the homecoming queen in a little bit. We're going to watch some football, some high school football on our television. We'll stream it on our television there with 2 dogs and 2 cats running around. Little Dub, the kitten that I picked up at the Warren Central game a couple of weeks ago, is doing really well, JB. Healthy as all get out. And Big Al, our dumpster kitty that Annabeth saved here in downtown Tupelo a couple of years ago, who has grown into a massive cat. And he doesn't have an ounce of fat on him either. That's what I'm talking about. This thing, you ought to see Al.
You call him Big Al?
I call him Big Al because let me tell you, he's big and he ain't fat either. Like, Al could whip anybody in his house if he wanted to, but he's kind of a sweetheart. But he's not really sure what to do with this kitten, who every time and the kitten is only like 7-8 weeks old, teeny tiny, that I rescued from the middle of the road outside the Warren Central game in Vicksburg a few weeks ago. And Mary Liddy named him Dub for Warren Central and for Wyatt, as in W. Dub.
Matty Dubs.
So Dub walks up to Big Al and like just jumps all over him. Wants to wrestle. And Big Al will get into it, and then he gets a little too in. The other day it was funny. The kitten was up there, and Annabeth was like, "Oh, look, Al's being nice. He's licking him on the head." And Big Al was just kind of licking the kitten on his head. And about that time, he opened his mouth and kind of basically bit. He didn't bite down, but just opened his mouth, and the kitten's whole entire head was in Al's mouth.
That's like a cartoon.
Yeah, he's sizing him up. So he's being sweet, all right. He's thinking, well, could I swallow this?
Talk about a fur ball.
Not just a hairball, hair and all ball. Hey, listen, we're going to get to these phone callers. David and Real C. There's a lot of scores to get to. But, JB, I just think we've got to address it. We've got messages today, and I've just been tweeted by Craig that something went on last night at South Panola in the South Panola Germantown game.
Yep.
And it's a stink.
Okay? Yeah. Should be.
It's a stink. So just hang tight, y'all. I'll tell you what that is. A little controversy there. But I don't want David hanging on any longer. He's on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. What's up, David?
Hey, man. How are you all?
I'm great. Thanks.
The coach up at MRA and his staff, no question, is the best coaching staff in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
He's proven that. I heard some guys on another show calling and make a statement that Dion and them were out-coached. I doubt if that was the reason they lost. They've won 2 or 3 state championships in their division over in Texas, so it was some coaching done on there. But my point is, the guy at MRA is no question the top high school coach in the state of Mississippi. I don't think he has but one senior on that offensive line of his. They're all young. He brought up a junior high class that he said was pretty darn good, and they just had to get some time in. Mm-hmm. I truly believe he's the best coach in the state.
You know, the results would back up anything we say like that, David. I don't think really anybody disagrees with you. Everybody's got their, the different leanings based on what they've seen. It's just he gets so much out of them. They are so tightly wound. You watch them on defense. Even that first game you mentioned against the team from Texas that Dion was coaching, and it's a first game during a pandemic season where practices have been interrupted and all this different stuff, and you watch them run to the ball and tackle. Their spacing on defense. I know this isn't basketball, but I use that term on purpose because whether it would be zone or whether it's on the line of scrimmage defending the zone runs and the zone reads, the way they'd space things out and set the edge and get there and tackle, you could just tell it was a team where the players have completely bought into what the coaches are teaching them and are trying to execute that on every play. Is obvious. You can see it, and they have that kind of team. I agree with you, and the numbers offensively, too, are backing it up. And you schedule a team late like Corinth, and you hadn't maybe had the same amount of time to get ready for them, and then that's a long drive. Okay, look, that's a long drive from Madison to Corinth because you're practically, a mile away from Tennessee when you go to Corinth. To roll up in there and put 55 points on them, I just think the results back up what you're saying.
I just wanted to say that don't knock a team that's won 2 or 3 state championships in their district, state level. Mm-hmm. MRA is good.
Yep, they're good.
And
I agree.
It goes all the way from junior high school up to the high school level. They're good.
Yep. I agree with you.
And they're good. Well, they're good at what they do. I don't know why some college hadn't picked them up, as a coordinator or something, but he's good. That's all I had to say.
Thanks, David. Appreciate the call. Guys like that, could they go to college and coach? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they coach it, sure. In college you deal with some different things, the recruiting angle and all that kind of stuff you don't deal with in high school, but there's no question. A lot of the best football coaches, just pure coaching football, a lot of the best ones are in high school. I mean, sometimes we get lulled into this belief that all the coaches in college must be the better ones because they're in college, right? And they're coaching in college. They're getting paid. Well, no. They chose that route and they chased it down. But there's some guys coaching high school teams in different parts of the country and in the Southeast that are a lot better football coaches than a lot of the ones making $1 million doing it. Yeah, I said it. It's true. Real C, Davini Equipment phone. What's up?
Man, I just had to call you back, Matt. As you well know, and as JB can tell you, I regularly participate in the daily shenanigans on air.
Right.
And I just want to make a point that if you're going to fling poo, you have to be able to catch some poo. Now, I don't know, Joey. I'm sure he's a swell fella. And I hate for him to get upset with me. You know, but you stick something out there, it's going to get rebutted at times. But olive branch passed. Get on through it. It's a Friday, a fun Friday, and a good afternoon. I will offer a piece of mathematical advice, though. If you're going to have a contest of 20 and you spot somebody 15, you've already lost.
I was wondering.
I'll take you grand.
I was wondering about that.
Y'all have a great weekend, Joey. Me and you all right. See you, buddy.
See you, man. Oh, real C. We need to save that soundbite right there. If you're going to fling poo, you're going to have to catch some poo. That's so true. Summing up social media in one sentence. If you're going to fling some poo, you're going to have to catch some. Thanks, Real C. Appreciate it. Okay. My friend Craig tweeted this to me. We had received word of this in a message earlier today, JB. Here's what Craig said. Blatant cheating by South Panola in a crushing 19-6 loss for Germantown. South Panola head baseball coach was caught refereeing and had to be removed.
Yep. Should
be forced to forfeit. It might cause the Mavericks a playoff spot. Unreal. That's what we had heard, okay? JB, we got a message that there was a play just before halftime where a penalty flag for pass interference was thrown against Germantown, who had the upper hand in the ball game.
And it was a very late penalty flag that was thrown. You know, that text I sent you.
Right.
A buddy of mine sent me last night about 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And,
very
I was
late
dead
flag.
to the world by then. But when I awoke this morning, that's what I got. So, yeah, there's some interesting details in that.
A very late flag on a throw before halftime for South Panola, who was trailing on a ball uncatchable. It gave them a new set of downs. They realized it's the baseball coach. Somebody recognized him, the South Panola baseball coach, and removed him from officiating the game. But the play stood.
Yep.
All right, more on that. Y'all stick around.
Go Jags, Titans, Patriots, Mavericks, and
Farm
more.
Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Bull. There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world. But C Spire believes that you deserve a plan that is what it actually says it is. Here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. Unlimited talk and text with 10 gigabytes of high-speed data. And here's the real deal. $45 per line with auto pay and paperless billing. Even without auto pay, it's just $50. Now, how's that for the fine print? No bull. That's the real deal. Switch to C Spire today at cspire.com/real deal. C Spire, customer inspired. Man, that sounds like summertime in Mississippi, doesn't it? You know what else just screams summertime in Mississippi? Country pleasing sausage from Country Meat Packers in Florence. Check me out. Jalapeno and cheddar. Just got it at Kroger in Tupelo where I live. On grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Cut it up, throw it in the frying pan, put it on a bun. Get some andouille, make some gumbo. It is the best sausage you've ever put in your mouth. Country Pleasing Sausage, countrypleasing.com. It is made up of hand-picked hams, bacon, and pork loin. That's why it tastes so good. I even got this cool hat from it. Check them out. Go by the butcher shop there in Florence, or order it online, or look for it in grocery stores. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck.
Episode for you today. And it's streaming right now online at thezone1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
And go. The text line has been really good today. Y'all are feeling it on a Friday. Slippery when Rhett said, I may not predict the score, but I predict at least one end-around reversal by John Rice Plumlee. Nothing makes Saban madder than when a former assistant runs a trick play. I think there's some truth in it. It's a funny truth to me. I think you're right. Like, former assistant running a trick play against him. And it appears to me that anything Lane Kiffin could do to genuinely gig Nick Saban, he'll do it. You know good and well, y'all, there's stuff that we aren't privy to the details, but you know good and well that at some point there was a moment when Kiffin was on the staff with Saban where they get into it in a coach's meeting about something that will or won't work. Kiffin is wanting to do something, thinks something will work. Saban's like, no, we're not doing that. It won't work. You know good and well, whatever that is, will be in the game plan for Ole Miss tomorrow. Just to prove a point. It'll happen. I don't know what it is, but it'll be in there. Anthony from Tupelo said, I think everyone in the state doesn't care anything about Clinton or Madison Central. What does that mean, Anthony? You're from Tupelo. See, I understand that. Like you may have to play them once a year, but that's it, right?
Oh, back in the day, man, Tupelo and Clinton and Madison Central were three of the top baseball teams in the state back, 2005 to 2015 in that era.
Isn't Clinton Tupelo a big soccer rivalry?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see. Just depends on your perspective. Brian says Alabama 48, Ole Miss 38. And so Alabama by 10 in a closely contested game in Oxford. And then he has Kentucky winning by a field goal 34-31 over Mississippi State. Brian, your picks are in. Miko said, Matt, all of West Point's players must have been on boycott for them to lose that game. Sure did. Lake Cormorant beat them. Upset West Point. Don't know how. I just know the quarterback for Lake Cormorant threw 3 touchdowns and ran 1 more. So he was fantastic. Real quick, Jason in Flagstaff says, I remember one of those Roy D. Mercer things where it was a woman he called. Dude still asked, how big old boy are you? And she didn't catch it. Law Dog says, Matt, when are you going to be doing Bulldog Baseball radio color analyst? The Law Dog. Well, I don't do radio stuff for baseball. When they need me, I go up into the booth for the SEC Network Plus stuff, which is, the games that are shown online. I'll do some of those with Bart Gregory when they need me. One of these days, they're going to get a former player, I think, that lives in the area that can do them and maybe get him up there. But for now, I get to do some. Peanut Butter Falcon said, MRA definitely deals with recruiting, haha. Yeah, but not in the context I was talking about, like in college where you're out here signing 25 players a year. All right, Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. Dog 79 hanging on. What's up?
Hey, Matt.
Hey.
How about those Braves?
Chop, chop. That's all I got to say.
That's right. I thought I'd tuned into the Fine Ball show for a minute there when I heard Joey calling in. I didn't know what was going on there.
Got a little heated here on a Friday. You know how it is.
But the reason I called is you were talking about Walker Jones, and Joey probably knows this, but he's Walker Jones III.
Mm-hmm.
His grandfather, Walker Jones, he went by Sonny, played for my grandfather when they left state in the 40s and went to Wyoming. I don't know, I can't remember where he was originally from, but he was a great running back up there. And his father went by Bill. He played for Ole Miss when Archie was there.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And Walker Jones had an equipment rental company here in Jackson for years, and whenever they had a TV game at the stadium back then, that's where they'd rent the cranes and whatever lifts that they used for the cameras back then.
Right. That's very cool. Yeah, Walker, good player. I didn't realize, though, he was the third. I did not realize that. I appreciate the info. I hadn't seen or talked to Walker in forever. I don't know when the last time I bumped into him. But
come from a long line.
Yeah, very cool. Appreciate the call, Dog.
All right, man, have a good Friday.
You too, man. Have a great weekend. If you're just tuning in, we touched on this a minute ago. We had somebody tweet us this information, but we'd heard about it today. I just wonder if you'll hear anything about it. It might be one of those where you don't. But we were told that in the Germantown South Panola game last night, that at one point in the game, someone recognized, the official apparently had a mask on, wearing a hat and had the mask on. And so you couldn't really make out who it was. And then at one point, either took the mask off or pulled it down or something. But somebody recognized that this official in the South Panola game that actually made a call very favorable they thought, to South Panola, was the South Panola High School baseball coach. And they make a big stink about it, and they removed him from officiating the game. And I don't know, it's interesting because I was under the impression that the coaching staffs at least talk to and acknowledge and say hello and to the officiating crews before the games. I know I've seen at all these games, the officiating crews will meet out at midfield and kind of get their ducks in a row and stuff. But I was under the impression that the high school coaches would talk to them too. So I'm really curious as to how it got to a point where, was he filling in for an official who couldn't make it? If that's the case, it sounds like somebody did recognize, well, hey, look, he's the baseball coach here. He doesn't need to be calling this.
I was told it was the baseball coach from Madison Central who was on the sideline. Mm-hmm. When the guy pulled his mask down, he recognized him as the head baseball coach for South Panola.
How do you get to a point where he is officiating a South Panola game? I can't.
Think ultimately, that's the question that will be answered to determine whether or not there should or should not be a forfeit.
I don't think we've heard the last of it at all.
Because I used to do some officiating.
Yeah.
Not just of weddings, but also of sporting events. And there's an assigning secretary for every district. And so you have, they have your name. They send you. I even got a bunch of friends that are currently football officials.
Yeah.
So they would have to have known weeks in advance unless somebody got sick and couldn't be there, and so here's a guy who's an official, so we'll put him out there. But even so, that should have been told to the coaching staff at Madison Central, prior to the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Germantown. What am I saying, Madison?
Germantown. Yeah, we knew what you meant. Germantown. Chris on the text line says, Germantown baseball coach was at the game. He recognized him. The ref pulled his mask down briefly. He got caught. He was found out around the end of the first quarter. The Germantown coach threw a fit, but they didn't take him out until after halftime. But removing, so somebody acknowledged something if they did remove him from officiating the game. To me, it's just, whew. Maybe there's a good explanation, but I don't think we've heard the end of the story for sure. All right. Carla Danger is on the Davini Equipment phone line, has called us back. I think we ran out of time earlier. Carla, welcome to the show. Do you have a prediction for me?
No, I don't have a prediction for you. I want to ask your opinion
on
a game, and then I got just a general question after that.
All right, hit me.
I want to get your opinion on the total points on the Ole Miss-Alabama game. It's set at 69 right now. What do you think about that?
More. More than that is what I think.
All right, more than that. Now, my follow-up question is, in your expert football throwing opinion, what minimum speed, what minimum wind speed would affect the ball trajectory, throwing it, kicking it? Mm-hmm. What minimum speed do you think?
Minimum wind speed of somewhere in the neighborhood of about, I would say, 18.73 miles per hour. But if you factor in the Earth's rotation, depending on the time of day, that's going to throw it off just a little bit on the gravitational pull. So with a night game, it may be a little closer to 19.78 miles per hour. Can you tell I'm laying? Can you tell I'm laying it on pretty thick there?
Very, very thick, and I love it.
But I
appreciate it, man.
But yeah, you too. And listen, thanks for calling me back. All right.
Yeah, no problem. Have a great weekend.
You too. Have a good one. I tell you what, you talk about honored. That two of Chris Brooks and Beaver's prized callers and listeners, Real C and Carla Danger, JB, they've not only called our show, they've called our show multiple times.
Oh, and texted and been part of the show. It's good to have people that want to go all in.
You hear that, Brooks and Beaver? All right. No, that is really good to hear. Yeah, if they put there will be at least a combined 70 points scored in the Alabama-Ole Miss game. At least. Miko says South Panola knew in advance. They tried to shield the guy with the fact of him having his mask on. Question is, how many times have they done it?
Yeah.
We got a full-on...
I got that question, too.
We got a full-on conspiracy happening. I do want answers, though.
That's why they call it the University of South Panola.
How does it get to that point? If you're the baseball coach at that school, you can't officiate football games at that school. Period.
I wonder if he's the home plate umpire for his baseball games.
He can't be worse than Eric Gregg was back in about 95.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
All right, JB, have a great weekend, sir. See y'all on Monday. See ya.
It's been a few months